One of the major reasons that cause the decline of any franchise is when the creators are listening to their audience much more than they should. They stop making what they want to make and instead try to pander fans by fulfilling all their desires. From a financial perspective, pleasing the audience is a smart thing to do, since they are the ones who are giving you money for as long as they are pleased and rage quit when they no longer like what you offer. From a quality perspective, it's also the smart thing to do, since they offer you feedback on what can be calibrated. But there is a point where it stops being smart or helpful. Every consumer has a completely different view of what needs to be done or what would personally please him. You cannot please everyone, since their demands are often contradicting each other. There is also the simple fact of consumers not being experts. They do not have the knowledge or experience of what it takes to be a creator, so they often want things that are damaging instead of helpful or plain impossible based on the limitations of money, budget, deadlines or technology. Let's also not overlook the fact of consumers being mostly horny plebs who spend more time in waifu wars and erotic fanfiction instead of analyzing themes and characters. If you listen to them too much, they fuck up everything with deviance. Lots of franchises got ruined by becoming more about shipping than what the creators want to create. Character development and world building go down the drain for down-to-death fan service. Dragon Ball Super in specific took this concept to the next level. The two Zeno are essentially speaking the thoughts of the audience.
Whoa, he's so strong, this is so fun, show me more!
Furthermore, they are not mere spectators, they are constantly bending the rules for the sake of entertainment, meaning they are actively demanding for the show to be broken, the tournament to be unfair, and nothing to make sense. Translation: the audience became the gods of the series. They dictate everything and sacrifice any form of consistency for the sake of cheering like a bunch of babies.
I want to see some damn
adult Dragon Ball.
God damn it.
When Dragon Ball Super began and people were complaining about the low-quality animation, many defended it by saying, instead of complaining, we should be glad we are finally getting more Dragon Ball after so many years. The same excuse is being used every time something comes out which is much inferior to what everybody was expecting. It definitely has to do with expectations, since if you're expecting too much, it's much easier to be disappointed compared to when you are not expecting anything. It's also completely logical to assume something is more than nothing. We shouldn't be greedy and never satisfied, but rather enjoy what we are offered. This is where the term face value comes into play. If through any means of advertisement you are presented with a product, you expect to get that product for a certain amount of money. If you think the cost of the product does not mirror the quality of the product, as a consumer you have the right to complain since people are not getting what they are paying for. The industry often tries to defend its inability to fulfill the needs of its consumers by stating how its purpose as an enterprise is to make money and not to be honest. If lying achieves that goal, then it cannot be blamed for doing what it's supposed to do. If anyone is at fault here, it's the consumers who didn't do a better research before buying the product in question. Which is also a lie, since profits are maximized when the consumers do not know what they are getting and the companies do their best to prevent reviews or footage to leak out too soon, since it damages the sales by revealing the truth. By the way, this has nothing to do with piracy, since the point is not to share around free copies of something, but rather your impressions of it and evidence of its quality. So the next time someone claims it's better than nothing, just reply by saying get good and go buy something else to spite him.
Gohan coming back with the fucking epicness. Yes, yes, yes.
The recent episodes of Dragon Ball Super were all about making neglected characters relevant again, as they were in the good old retro days. Although it sounded great on paper, it came at the expense of giving everyone cheap power-ups, with any training done out of screen or not lasting more than a few days. It's possible to make a neglected character important again, as long as it makes sense in the continuity. In Dragon Ball Super it doesn't, because the only way to make a character relevant is to make him super strong, even if that means undoing everything he did over the years. Despite not being important in battles anymore, everyone was still having a life which gave them a new perspective. It was flavoring their personality without having something to do with fighting. By not doing something creative with that and turning everyone back into strong fighters, it is essentially a reset of everything they were doing all this time. They didn't move further, they went back into what they were before. And the way they went back is plain bad writing with hardly any motivation or excuse for becoming a million times stronger all of a sudden. It's fan service of the worst kind, coming from a fandom that refuses to let the characters grow as personalities and simply wants them to be doing the exact same shit, no matter how old they become. In recent episodes of Dragon Ball Super, a lot of people were accusing Goku of being the cause of destruction for a dozen universes. If he hadn't pressured the god of naturally everything to begin the Tournament of Power, there wouldn't be the penalty of destroying the universe of the losing teams.
It definitely feels like this is more of an adult Dragon Ball.
Furthermore, Goku didn't seem to give a shit about any of that, since all he was looking forward to was fighting strong opponents. The only redeeming quality everybody was seeing in him was the hope of realizing his mistake in later episodes. He might finally get some sort of character development by seeing how his battle frenzy causes more harm than good.
It feels as though Dragon Ball with this arc grew up with us finally.
And even that hope died in the latest episode when they revealed most universes would be destroyed either way, and the tournament exists only as entertainment for the god of naturally everything. That means Goku did not doom the universes, he gave them the chance to survive by winning the tournament.
It really could have been something to put a whole new light to this franchise, so it hurts me to see all this potential be shafted almost as immediately as it was conceived.
Thus ended the very interesting prospect of seeing Goku being blamed by everyone for his battle last and getting some character development because of it. Once again, Dragon Ball Super proves to be a brain-dead fighting shonen that millions are hyping as amazing.
Many of us don't actually want great anime. We want those anime that already interest us based upon their surface elements to be great.
Holy shit, the DragonBallTards are completely retarded. They keep insisting Goku is a villain now because everybody hates him in series, even though he had nothing to do with the penalty of destroying the losing universes, and thus there is no reason to be hated in series. This is the result of DragonBallTards being unable to think on their own and believing everything the show tells them, even if it makes no sense, such as calling the upcoming event a tournament, even though it's a battle royale. There is only going to be one match with everybody on the stage, and the winners do not move to the next round. How is this a tournament? They even go as far as believing Goku's going to get a lot of character development, something which will never happen because Toriyama won't be able to keep milking the franchise if everybody hates the main character. And by the way, it's pretty easy for the fans to hate him right now, since they are accustomed to having a villain they are supposed to hate in every arc where the stakes are high. Traditional tournament arcs have no tension, since nothing is lost if Goku loses. In this arc, which is not a tournament, entire universes will be wiped out without an obvious villain to hate. So everybody needs to blame someone for all this mess. And that someone cannot be the High Priest, who clearly behaves in a shady manner, or Zeno, who established the rule of wiping out the losing universes. Nope, it has to be Goku because the show said so, even if it makes no sense. DragonBallTards are indeed fucking idiots.
It definitely feels like this is more of an adult Dragon Ball.
In the recent episode of Dragon Ball Super, the first universe got erased because it was the weakest and not because it wasn't using tactics. Many are already complaining about it since they assumed the 7 universes would be erased at the end of the tournament. This way the audience would get to see more of the defeated warriors they like, and the warriors would enjoy the rest of the fights. So my question is, what kind of a psychopath would assume the defeated universes would be having fun while knowing what they are watching is going to destroy them? Enjoy the fights? Is this the only thing everybody cares about in this series?
These little motherfuckers, they're like misguided idiots. How are you rejoicing that they don't give a shit?
They would obviously not enjoy the fights at all. They would be trembling and begging for mercy as the inevitable is approaching. Wiping them out immediately was basically mercy kill. But for the sake of argument, let's assume they wouldn't be erased right away. What would be the result of that?
It would add into the drama of holy shit, we're all going to die once this is over.
Yeah, it would increase the tension as more people are losing hope and time is running out, making everything super exciting. Only it wouldn't, because we all know how the series is going to end. The very creators admitted that the final episode of Z is still canon. We know there will be a happy ending and everyone will be fine. Hell, it's almost certain they will simply wish the universes back, just like they have undone every single negative thing in the past.
Darker than anything we've seen in Dragon Ball, probably in its entirety. It feels as though Dragon Ball with this arc grew up with us finally. Gohan's trying to really use that strategy. Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, the androids, they don't give a fuck and people are blowing their fucking loads and Goku's gonna fuck shit up. Shit is intense, bro. I would love to fucking see Vegeta versus Kale in her Broly form. I want that. I need that. I need it! Let's try and be smart about it. I want to see Caulifla talk shit to Vegeta and Vegeta kind of smile and talk shit back and then go Super Saiyan Blue and beat her fucking ass because I'm excited for this shit. Krillin's gonna have his time to shine. I can't wait to see that shit happen. That's gonna be hype as fuck. Being strategic and smart. Fucking give me the fucking badass gangsta bitch. That's what I need, bruh. I need it! I want to see some cool
Bankai's, goddammit.
Oh, wait, you serious?
Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be real. The power scaling and a lot of the logic that goes into that shit, it is still bullshit regardless. It is.
You keep watching anime even though you know in advance that you won't enjoy it. What the hell is wrong with you? Do you have a learning disorder or something? You should well know what to avoid and what not. Why did you watch it at all? Please, stop trolling. The only reasonable explanation for this behavior, if I still want to believe in mankind.
Gohan coming back with the fucking epicness. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh wait, you serious?
Gohan is supposed to have the most power he's ever had. Gohan's supposed to have some insane power.
Oh wait, you serious?
Give me the Gohan that sends chills down my spine.
Oh wait, you serious?
What chance in hell does Frost have unless he gets like that golden Frieza transformation? Frost can have a golden form and can jump up to that Super Saiyan blue strength and everything will be good.
Oh wait, you serious?
Dragon Ball Super is complete garbage and incapable to do the slightest thing right. Instead of going over the plot holes in the recent episode, I will focus on how it destroyed something as simple as the characterization of one of its earlier characters, Muten Roshi. Many were dissatisfied with the way he became a rapey, with many others defending it by saying, "But guys, he was always a pervert, so why are you complaining? It's a running gag that exists since the very beginning." Yes, the gag is the same, but its handling is not. Because Dragon Ball Super is complete garbage even when it tries to rehash something as simple as a comic relief gag. And let me tell you why, so you can learn a few things about proper characterization, you stinking plebs. First and foremost, a good series grows up with its audience. Dragon Ball Super didn't do that because it's only rehashing the same ideas from 20 years ago instead of making a natural progression of them. It is still using the same tired, ecchi jokes at a time when they don't mean anything anymore. Nowadays we're getting the sleaziest fan service imaginable every season. So what used to be bold back then is another tired joke today. Unless you are still a kid at the age of 21, most of what you found funny as a child is no longer funny when you're over 30. Mental aging has this effect. Most who were watching Dragon Ball Z are now in their 30s, while the characters in series are still stuck at acting like 10-year-olds. Of course, and you won't like Roshi going after panties, it's now vulgar, offensive and childish. Like many other cartoons of the 80s that feel cringy when you view them with an adult mind. The very world has changed since the beginning of the series in the 80s. Molesting women is a much more sensitive matter today than it was back at the time when we didn't have social justice warriors. Women are more liberal and demand more respect. So what do you think will happen when you show that shit to the oversensitive millennials of today? And it's not just us growing up while the show didn't, it's also about playing it safer before switching it around for no good reason. Super is limited by the censorship of modern times. So what used to be normal in an 80s series, now it's not allowed. They censor most nudity and violence, while also simplifying the designs, so for someone who watched it as a kid, it looks way more childish. When you throw in molest jokes, it's out of place in this family-oriented fighting series. And what most don't seem to understand is that the same gag is not even presented in the same way. Roshi wasn't chasing girls for purposes of molesting them. They weren't running away scared and screaming, begging him to stop while he kept going. He was mostly a sneaky peeping Tom who was severely punished when he was found out. The girls weren't scared of him, they were violent and relentless. So essentially the same gag in Super is used in a much more rapey way. And if you think at least that is different from the older show by being more extreme, you're a fucking idiot! Because that was not the purpose it had at first. Roshi used to be a wise sage in the early Dragon Ball arcs, with the pervy jokes acting as a funny counter to his serious side. When he stopped being useful in the beginning of Z, these jokes lost their purpose since they weren't serving as a contrast. Roshi degraded into a one-dimensional pervert who wasn't doing anything useful anymore. The pervy jokes are now only making him look bad, and since they are closer to molestation, they turned him into a light novel villain who only thinks of rape. And the final nail in the coffin of this atrocity has to do with molestation becoming part of the plot. Before that, whatever Roshi was doing was just a comic relief or fan service. It wasn't part of the narrative, it was filler. It could be removed without affecting anything. Not anymore, now it's part of the story. It became a driving force. Although I am in favor of anything that serves the narrative, in this case it does nothing but making the once wise sage of the series to now be no more than a plot-relevant rapist. Fuck you, Super. Fuck you and anyone who writes this abomination. You took one of the most iconic anime of all times and turned it into rape jokes.
That is facts.
Jiren is going to be an opponent like we've never seen before. I think he has one of the strongest presences in the show. I'm super hyped for it. If that includes you, then give this video a thumbs up. If it doesn't include you, then you're just strange. Who is Jiren the Grey? We know him as Jiren, but his full name is Jiren the Grey. Why? He's gray. Lol. We just know he's super strong. Stronger than Goku? Tell me which one you think is stronger in the comments. But if you think about it, it's deeper than that. Don't you agree? We'll find out if you do later. What you need to do is subscribe right now. We see Topo say something that was so deep to me. It was just so meaningful to me that the people who preach justice suddenly were saying there was no justice at this time. And if Jiren really takes that message to heart, I think he'll get even stronger again. This is exactly why people are thinking Jiren is going to force Goku into his new form. Hit that thumbs up button, cause I know you can't wait to see Jiren's power unleashed. This is gonna be super hard to wait all the way till October 8th. But I know we'll get through it together if we just keep talking to each other about Dragon Ball Super. You'll be there for my Jiren vs Goku video, right? Good. See you there.
Boy, has Vegeta grown. He's just such a whole different person. Dragon Ball Super is wrapping up soon. Let's give him his final hoorah so that the fans can be satisfied. He survived, obviously. Again, we know the ending of Z, so we figured, hey, Vegeta's not gonna die right there. Honestly, I didn't even expect it. And art and animation of these episodes, again, wasn't stellar, but you know what you're watching. You know that it's like, hey, this was great before, this is great now. 4 minutes remaining of the Tournament of Power after this video, so, or after this episode, not this video. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the arena already like all blown up into a bunch of little pieces and everybody was just floating on it? And then this episode they're back to normal? Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm missing something, or maybe I'm misremembering. It was heavily inspired by that big explosion moment where he tried to sacrifice himself against Majin Buu. Dragon Ball Super is an homage. Remember this really cool show you saw like 10-15 years ago back on TV? Here it is. You remember you liked this stuff about it? Here it is. I feel all emotional talking about it, but it really kind of connects my childhood and adulthood and everything. That's something that I really appreciated. Obviously, it's not going to have the same amount of impact because essentially, again, it was an homage. I'm Fanbase World, and as always, people, I love speculating on this stuff. That is facts. They always devalue the previous form. Gohan coming back with the fucking epicness. Yes, yes, yes. The form that came prior to what they're hyping up right now, they always make it look weak. Frost can have a golden form and can jump up to that Super Saiyan Blue strength and everything will be good. As much as God Mode was hyped up, we saw as soon as Resurrection F came through, you need Super Saiyan Blue. I would love to fucking see Vegeta versus Kale in her Broly form. Then of course when we got to Super Saiyan Blue, you need Ultra Instinct. Gohan's supposed to have some insane power. Then the black hair form wasn't good enough. We needed the silver hair, the mastered Ultra Instinct. I want to see Caulifla talk shit to Vegeta and Vegeta kind of smile and talk shit back and then go Super Saiyan Blue and beat her fucking ass. I wouldn't be surprised if Ultra Instinct is once again devalued and then bam, Goku would need another form to go even further. Incoming brand new transformation. Give me the fucking badass gangsta bitch. We've seen it from Super Saiyan 1 to 2 to 3. These forms were a waste of time because once again they get devalued with a new movie. Let's read a little bit of the info. Dragon Ball Heroes will be made into a PR anime. Apparently, they're going to be adapting things. The first episode's pre-screening will take place on July 1st. I believe in July, they're already going to do their first screening. From my understanding with Dragon Ball Heroes, I'm not sure how they're going to go about with this, but I'm excited. It's Dragon Ball, baby. Time Breaker Vegeta, Time Breaker Bardock, Golden Cooler, Broly Super Saiyan 4. There's just so much of anything you can think of. I wanted to dive into a little bit of the information. I've never even checked out any of this. I believe I do have one of the games. Who knows? Future Trunks and Future Mai have returned to the present timeline. Oh my god, we just went through this whole Zama stuff. What's going on? They gotta keep Future Trunks in here because they know the moolah, baby. The fans love them. Of course, they're gonna bring them back in some form or another. That's gonna be interesting to keep things fresh. We could see Super Saiyan 4 Goku one week. We could see Uzaru Vegeta the next. A mysterious Saiyan with long hair appears and powers up. That is really cool. Have an idea of what we're getting into. I don't know shit about Heroes and I get confused. The Prison Planet arc is something I'm excited about because I have no idea what it is. It has the whole plot and everything here. Yo, the fans is gonna go crazy for Cooler to be some form of canon to the series. My gosh, that's gonna be interesting. So they might do this in continuity with Super, but just have it like this alternate wacky thing where characters are popping into our timeline or something. There's endless possibilities. Honestly, the art got me excited. Everything about it, because I did not expect this. This is gonna be so insane, and I'm imagining almost every week, if they have this much fan service to, delve into, every single week we're gonna be blown away by what's happening. They're very advanced in the stories. Is it gonna make much sense? Probably not. It's interesting to see what the characters are gonna look like. Pretty much look the same. There's not too much there. I'm excited for that as well. Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 1, please come! Working out the story where Toriyama was mainly done via email. So Toriyama was like, bro, I'm sitting in my home in my underwear while I work with y'all. Y'all don't like it? Tough nuggets. Bitch, I look like Goku. Things sped up once it was decided to make the story about Saiyans, which everybody loves Saiyans. Keeps me very optimistic that this could be a really strong film. Bitch, I look like Goku. I doubt they had the whole ending and that this was going to be a continuation. You have to pace everything. You have to, if this is the plot and this is what's going to happen in point A and point Z, you got to figure everything in between. Screw it, we know it's Dragon Ball Super, and just slap it as a continuation to the series. Bitch, I look like Goku. Toriyama has said multiple times he's done with Dragon Ball. He don't really want to be involved. It gotta be them checks. Them checks gotta be delicious. They gotta be sexy. Bitch, I look like Goku. One thing Toriyama told him to watch out for when auditioning a new character designer was if they could make a character look cool. If Toriyama is thinking down to the detail of how cool a character looks in which direction, he's really into this shit. Bitch, I look like Goku. Frieza's inclusion in Resurrection F is what made that movie pop and sell well. I think this one might even do better because people are hungry. Dragon Ball Super left us starving for more. We starving right now. Where the fuck is Dragon Ball Super? Fan for life. Bitch, I look like Goku. Toriyama's story includes a lot of fan service, a lot of Saiyan transformations. I mean, the whole premise, Saiyans themselves, that's fan service because people love Saiyans. Bitch, I look like Goku. Toriyama is just dedicated, man. He can bring back amazing, godlike writing, doing what he used to do, and he brings characters to a certain way that fans like. If he's doing fan service indeed, this is gonna be great. Bitch, I look like Goku. Dragon Ball Super just ended not that long ago, and we don't have no Dragon Ball anime, bro. I need this film now. Bitch, I look like Goku. I'm Forever World, and as always, people, I look like Goku. And remember the golden rule. If you're over 15 and like anime, you're a fucking loser.
That is the first scene of Gogeta. They fuse. They haven't done anything like this before. It's just completely and utterly insane.
Max power?
Gogeta just blocking it like nothing. And we have, of course, Super Saiyan Broly. It's insane.
Max power.
You thought Super was great with Jiren and Goku. This is a whole other level. And look at this power up.
Max power?
There's Gogeta transforming. This is going to be the most incredible fight in the history of Dragon Ball.
Max power.
Here's Gogeta jump firing. I don't know how many ki blasts. Even if you have been spoiled by this movie, go see it. Because look at this.
Feel the G's.
The rocks are tearing apart, and then Broly there is like, no, I'm not going down without a fight.
Max power.
Look how tough Broly is, folks. Is going toe-to-toe with Gogeta, fam.
Max power.
Power's up right here. Here's Gogeta firing ki blasts. Broly in his full power form.
Max power.
That's Broly with his back. That's him at his max power. Endless assaults of ki blasts against Broly. Look at this shot. He's a damn aircraft carrier, fam.
Max power.
Dodges and smiles. Confident. Gogeta versus Broly. There's a big, huge power up. I don't even know what's going on there.
Max power.
Look at this power up. It's insane.
Add some exclamation points and a pirate flag.
I can't wait to see this movie in the movie theater. I've been trying to prevent people from being spoiled, and now Japan themselves spoiled it. Japan does not care about spoilers anymore. They don't care about revealing this anymore. This is already out.
Have you had any lunch? Yeah, but I usually have 3 or 4.
There's about to be some epicness. I've seen people kind of turn their backs on their initial reaction and opinion. This sounds like it's going to be fire. Using similar formulas that we've seen time and time again in Dragon Ball also doesn't help the case. This is where the chapter starts to get interesting. He's not showing anything different than we've already seen in the Dragon Ball story. That sounds so fucking exciting, I'm not gonna lie. Just isn't doing anything new, and it gets to a point where it's kinda boring. I can't wait to see some Vegeta epicness, baby, let's go! He's turned into a disappointment. Goku arrives to the battlefield, but Moro defeats him again very easily. Continues to break the mold of, oh, one ass whipping, two ass whippings, Goku comes back and wins. Like, this is ass whipping number 4. Beerus and Whis arrive and Moro falls on the ground. Moro has been defeated, and I'll be honest with you, it does feel lackluster in the sense of like all this training and everything, and it was Beerus that defeated him when he could have done it all along. So there's that argument there, but also that chapter really twisted things up. Like, it just feels different. It feels like a breath of fresh air. I like this a lot. I feel like this is such a breakaway from the mold of the norm of what Dragon Ball constantly gives us of Goku being the hero. It's not the most climactic, but it's better than what I would have thought. It's better than just Goku getting up. Please give me the energy, everybody. I'll take this over the standard norm. Boy, I can't wait for the Dragon Ball Super anime to return. Like, when is that happening? Okay, people, I gotta keep it real. Hands down, best chapter of Dragon Ball Super. I was never the biggest fan of Beerus.
He's lying.
The most emotional chapter of Dragon Ball Super's Moro arc. I was never like, whoa, Beerus, Galactic Patrol, dude.
He's lying.
I gotta be honest here. Most emotional chapters of Dragon Ball Super, period. I've never been the biggest Beerus fan. He's like a newer character. It's like, okay, whatever.
He's lying.
I ain't even gonna lie. Continues to break the mold of, oh, one ass whipping, two ass whippings, Goku comes back and wins. Like, it's kind of funny. They're like, oh, it's gonna take some time to, you know, heal up and bring Goku back to health. And it's like within a panel, like Goku's like, oh, I'm back, y'all.
He's lying.
I gotta keep it 1,000 with you people. I like this a lot. I feel like this is such a breakaway from the mold of the norm of what Dragon Ball constantly gives us of Goku being the hero. He goes into his Ultra Instinct Omen or Sign form. I'm not even gonna lie, look badass.
He's lying.
I gotta be honest here. All this training and everything, and it was Beerus that defeated him when he could have done it all along. So there's that argument there. But also, that chapter really twisted things up. This chapter, at the very least, was absolute greatness, and I loved it. It hit the feels.
He's lying.
The recreation of the Cell Saga, and even a small instance of the Buu Saga, I ain't even gonna lie, continues to break the mold. Is Toriyama just telling the plot of the Cell Saga and plot of Buu Saga, like not even realizing that he's self-plagiarizing essentially, and Toyotaro's like, revolutionary, fam, revolutionary, dog, like, yo, that's never been done before. I gotta keep it 1,000 with you people. I like this a lot. I feel like this is such a breakaway from the mold of the norm of what Dragon Ball constantly gives us. His 9-year-old son during the Cell games, when he went Super Saiyan 2, had to learn that hard lesson of, hey, just finish him off. Don't give in to anything else. Just get rid of him. And Goku starts to give him the same spiel he'd give any other villain. I gotta be honest here. That chapter really twisted things up. It was a Cell Saga remix with a little bit of Buu in there. I ain't even gonna lie. Continues to break the mold. Hey, he's a big monster bomb, similar to Semi-Perfect Cell. Goku didn't learn lessons that he should have learned 20-something fucking years ago when the Cell Saga came out. I gotta keep it 1,000 with you people. I like this a lot. I feel like this is such a breakaway from the mold of the norm of what Dragon Ball constantly gives us. Toriyama, good job. Yeah. Toyotaro, stop listening to this motherfucker, please. I gotta be honest here. That chapter really twisted things up.
Goku said he'd spare Moro if he agreed to come to the galactic prison and promise not to break out again. I don't know how Goku could ever trust such a promise. The whole Ultra Instinct Goku battle was absolutely epic. Goku gives him a sensu bean. Was it stupid? Yeah, it was pretty stupid. Especially after Merus gave up his life because of how dangerous Moro was. I loved it, and I loved watching Goku completely overpower Moro. Even in Dragon Ball, there are times when Goku is suspicious of enemies and doesn't trust them. So the fact that he'd trust Moro after everything is not very realistic. But either way, we now have a hype matchup with an Ultra Instinct Goku and an Ultra Instinct Moro. Goku should have learned to not give his opponent a chance to, you know, destroy the Earth. Seeing more of Ultra Instinct Goku, which is always pretty cool. Beerus is understandably mad, wondering why Goku is messing around instead of finishing the job. Goku calls Moro a sneaky coward, but still, he doesn't finish him off. And I will continue to enjoy Super, and at this point it is pretty hilarious that Goku is telling this guy who cost Merus his life how to get even stronger. I definitely do prefer getting more super to getting nothing. Goku is just really bad at learning his lesson, and you never know, Super can have a lot more highlights that we really enjoy in the chapters to come. Even Whis tells Goku, dude, stop messing around and finish him this instant. Goku says finally okay, but he takes his time and keeps talking. I am super grateful when we get new chapters for all of these series that I love. Goku should not have let this happen, and I get it if people are upset by how many chances Goku gave Moro to do this. And I tend to focus on the positive stuff rather than the negative stuff. Goku was very fazed by Merus's death, and yet he still allowed what Merus dreaded most to possibly happen by showing too much mercy to a clearly bad dude. Something that got him in trouble many times before, and he even had to be bailed out by Whis before. I'm not gonna hate too much on this chapter, although I know a lot of people do hate it.
The comments from Toyotaro regarding Dragon Ball Super. No one knew what was going on. There's been many trial and error while I was drawing this, but I think this was the best story I could express. This is the best story that he could express. Basically, this is the best story he could come up with, which kind of sets the bar. I hate how people like to say, like, because let's just say they're not happy with the ending of a series, that everything else is diminished. No, Moro started really strong. There was a lot of good stuff there. It's just, again, like, I don't know what happened towards the end where it was like, well, we kind of lost the plot here. But still, nevertheless, shouts out, because I always gotta say, no matter my criticism of Dragon Ball Super, I'm always just genuinely happy to have Dragon Ball. So I am always happy and grateful that we actually have this regardless. So shouts out to Toyotaro, Akira Toriyama, and all them regardless, because I love being able to see the characters I grew up with. We never learn.
Time to expose the horrible effect mental gymnastics have on minorities because they overthink Dragon Ball of all things. This guy asking why are certain shonen more popular amongst black people is nonsensical. Shonen become popular for their epic fights. They are watched and liked by every race in the world because if they didn't, they wouldn't be as popular. The mental gymnastics begin by the comment you see below it, claiming that the shonen spirit resonates more with people who feel marginalized or who don't get enough privileges. Basically the classic underdog story. All of a sudden they become a symbol against discrimination. Said symbol got propagated through mass media and specifically music. In their minds, Goku is a member of a minority race and a badass because of that specific race. Basically a power fantasy. Dragon Ball Z represents the journey of the black man in America. Yes, it's exactly like the stuff black people were going through when they were being discriminated. They were an elite race of warriors far away from their homeland who became the strongest fighters and saved the universe 100 times. Hey, wait a second, that didn't happen. That is what they wished had happened. This is why Dragon Ball rules. It's whatever you want it to be. Holy shit, it's a piece of paper. Isn't that the exact same thing that the Nazis did? Fabricating history for brainwashing the people into thinking they are being discriminated despite being the superior race? Well done, black people. You're no different than the Nazis in this regard. Oh wait, it's not actually about black people. It's about delusional losers who are using mental gymnastics so they can make it seem like a silly action show aimed at little boys is part of their cultural identity. Even if it was never meant to be, in the same way My Little Pony was never supposed to be part of the cultural identity of a bunch of freakazoids who wear diapers and pretend being transvestite ponies. No wonder the ogre thinks he's Goku. For the same reason he thinks he's a rapper. He has convinced himself to believe he's Goku Black, who is opposing the evil white slaver named Frieza. And no wonder why so many of these delusional fanboys go as far as shutting down channels and sending death threats to the very people who are making the shows that they like so much. Because just like the Nazis, they have convinced themselves that they are better than everyone else, and because they are being discriminated for their dumb ideas, they deserve to gas anyone who disagrees with them.
This man isn't black! Why did he say it with so much emphasis? You literally said, this man isn't black. Like, bro, Goku is trying to claim his ethnic diversity, and Trunks isn't having it. What the fuck is this nigga's problem?
Could have been a little bit more creative with the name scheme. Maybe in Japanese, it's not so on the nose, but in English, it is horrible. I find it fascinating. Zuno's been one of the most convenient plot devices in the Dragon Ball stories. Like, yo, he knows everything, so all we gotta do is get him. The setup right now has been great. That kind of felt like it was shoehorned in just to explain and really validate what's going on here. I'm loving the way the narrative has been set up. That was definitely a plot device, and I wasn't like too fond. Definitely going in a positive direction. We got the story and the idea of this whole vengeance thing down packed. But these elements, you're kind of just like letting them fly as they come to your head. And I like that, and I really hope it stays this way. There was so many other creative ways you could have done to like bring the news to Granola that here's the whereabouts of that Dragon Ball without having a dragon radar. I'm just like, okay, Toyotaro. And I like that. There's a dragon that only 2 Dragon Balls can grant wishes, which, okay, I'm not fond of that idea either. I love that shit. I'm just not fond of like 2 Dragon Balls and this info. There's a lot of things about this arc so far that I'm really liking. Just feels like it all came too quick. Has just been phenomenal. Yo, it's only 2 Dragon Balls. It shouldn't be that strong. So despite a lot of my nitpicks, I'm still very excited about this arc. Sometimes you gotta stop harping and imprisoning yourself in the past. You cannot forget about these things. You can never forget, but it's also gonna cage you in if that's all you constantly living for and thinking about. Yo, let's go. Granola getting them wishes. Let's go. Vegeta getting that power. I want to see them throw down. I want to see Granola get to that level to give them a proper fight. Dragon Ball changed a lot of people's lives, so major congrats. 35 years, still going strong. Love to see it. Very impressive to say the least. The fact that he's, I want to say, the only person in Dragon Ball history to do this. Never has there been anybody that was capable of wishing to be the strongest. Like, I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. In order to have his wish granted by the dragon, he had to sacrifice 150 of his years. Granola has 3 years left to live. Like, I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. Yo, Dragon Ball needs more props right now. I'm on board. I feel as though there's not enough recognition for what's going down right now with the Dragon Ball Super manga. I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. The same way we can all come together and collectively say, oh my god, they're doing this wrong, they're doing that wrong. We should come collectively together and say, yo, it is getting off the chain right now. I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. I am coming with great pleasure and praise. I just feel like this arc right now is so much win. I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. I am really digging it. I think that they're doing a great job, a fantastic job. This Dragon Ball Super shit is on fire right now. I can't freaking wait.
Things are getting very interesting, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And while you wait for the next exciting chapter to drop, be sure to subscribe. With this chapter, I'm definitely hooked. Now I'm invested in this arc and can't wait to see how it turns out. You can let me know in the comments how you've been enjoying the Granola arc so far and what you think of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. It doesn't get much more hype than that, except maybe if the title was Goku Unlocks Gear 5. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter and this arc so far. What are you looking forward to seeing next the most? God of Destruction Vegeta is hella hype. Watching a God of Destruction Vegeta versus Master Ultra Instinct Goku face off down the line would be so awesome. If you do enjoy these Dragon Ball Super reviews, channel the Super Saiyan within and smash that like button until it's blue. Again, I love this. I love how they each have their different paths and that there's clearly more than one way to get to the final destination, which is to be the strongest in the universe. So make sure to stay tuned for that. You can't deny that God of Destruction Vegeta is such a cool idea. It's like Majin Vegeta on steroids, and we all know how cool that was. You can let me know in the comments how you've been enjoying the Granola arc so far and what you think of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You gotta love Granola's Super Saiyan 3 like hair right now. Very cool. Be sure to subscribe. We get a very hype moment for Vegeta, and Vegeta fans should be loving the story right now. If you do enjoy these Dragon Ball Super reviews, channel the Super Saiyan within and smash that like button until it's blue. Goku is like the perfect role model for how we should behave in life. Be sure to subscribe, and can't wait to see how this goes. Can't wait to see Vegeta reach new heights and to see how Granola's revenge goes, so make sure to stay tuned for that.
As the months and years crept on by, the manga's impact and prestige seemed to wane. Can't we just say Toyotaro was a bad mangaka up until the most recent arc and call it a day? Well, no, the manga was being compared to the anime instead of the other way around. However, it got really good. Half a year after the anime had concluded, Toyotaro finally caught up with the anime's telling and started releasing a never-before-seen story. Everyone has loved it. Everything about it just feels fresh. This arc has received, for the most part, universal praise. Has the art changed? Not really. Maybe the page composition has improved. Not really. The quality of the writing must have skyrocketed after, right? Not really. The manga is for the first time in years covering important new stuff before everyone else. And so people are now giving it the attention mangas typically get by default. which has resulted in a sudden, almost flip of a light switch change of heart amongst viewers of the series, myself included. I was not a fan of what the manga was doing in the Tournament of Power, and when I picked up the first chapter of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, immediately I was much more responsive to what Toyotaro was trying to do. It creates intrigue and desire to continue reading. In the past, I've gone as far as to write video essays dissecting Toyotaro's Dragon Ball Super manga, outlining where I think its shortcomings were and what I think could be done to improve things. And while I stand by the vast majority of criticisms I've said prior, I think it's also important to, where we can, give the benefit of the doubt to others.
I don't want the same old stuff, the same old shtick of Dragon Ball fights. Vegeta's new form. I'm not even gonna lie, I just keep it straightforward. I really rock with it. I don't want the same old stuff, the same old shtick of Dragon Ball fights. I love that it's more brawlic looking. It got more of the muscly. I love the brawlic look. I love the no eyebrows thing, kind of like a Super Saiyan 3. I don't want the same old stuff, the same old shtick of Dragon Ball fights. I would have loved the Super Saiyan 3 look, I ain't gonna lie. I'm always going to say that's the best look of all the Super Saiyan transformations, outside of maybe 4. Ah, Vegeta! I don't want the same old stuff, the same old shtick of Dragon Ball fights. Vegeta has a new transformation. I think it would be phenomenal. I think it would serve Dragon Ball as a whole so well. Crazy shit, fam! I don't want the same old stuff, the same old shtick of Dragon Ball fights. What do you think is the color going to be for this transformation? Is it going to be the purple? Is it going to just be flat out black? Phenomenal. Mwah, I can't freaking wait. Hopefully this film is good. I want to see Broly. We haven't seen him in now 2 arcs in the manga, so kind of want to see Broly. Goten and Trunks need to be in this one, and they need to be older. I want to see them looking epic. I want to see them stronger than ever. So I'll never forget as a young kid how hyped I was, them talking about the potential of like, yo, if they're 7 and 8 going Super Saiyan, what the hell are they going to be when they're full-blown adults? And then that kind of got pissed away, you know, with GT and shit. Definitely want to see the Z Warriors be somewhat prominent, because the manga completely says, no, fuck Z Warriors. We ain't really doing that shit right now. I'm expecting Gohan to have a really cool moment. That would also make sense why they haven't given Gohan like that grandiose moment. Had potential, but it kind of got, you know, a little pissed away. It would be awesome if they did a new transformation, but not for Goku or Vegeta. How about Gohan? I want to see character development for a lot of characters. They could dive deep, maybe dive a little bit more deeper into Gohan and Vidal's relationship, Krillin and 18's relationship, Krillin and 17 as like, you know, brother-in-laws and shit. There's a lot of different character developing moments that they could have. I want to see Goku be a little bit more mature like we've seen him in the past. Not always just like, hey, I'm an idiot and I put the fate of the universe at risk for my own selfish needs. Like, I want to see Goku actually act like some of the times we've seen him in Z when he would man up and start being a little bit more serious. I'm expecting Frieza and somehow, some way Frieza bringing in his brother Cooler, because I'm still expecting that Cooler is going to be involved somehow, some way. And last but not least, I just want a good film. You just want action. That's pretty much what Dragon Ball is all about, action.
I want to see some damn
Dragon Ball, goddammit.
This new arc has actually presented great character development for the likes of Vegeta. Vegeta went through a drastic character regression. More individualism between Goku and Vegeta, where they have a unique path to attain their power, instead of always using similar moves. He continues to state how Granola just learned about his new power and he's nearing his limits just like them, activating his Sharingan. Vegeta strived for freedom with the use of power, to be the master of his own fate. Vegeta refuses to give up. He himself is the master of his own fate, until he was left with no choice. Great character development for the likes of Vegeta. He pleads with Goku to allow him to at least get one W over him for once.
No.
The freaking supreme L this series loves to give him in every single fight. I mean, this dude be staking L's in every saga and every fight. It's only up to Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans, to atone for the previous sins of his people and end the cycle of hatred in the entire universe. Yeah, it does sound cliche, I have to admit it. Love is the answer, guys. We all need to have self-love. Love thyself. Love thy neighbor. You know what I'm trying to say? It's so dumb. Vegeta was just acting like his old self in order to unlock the power of God of Destruction. In the end, his results become futile. The one Saiyan who actually saved their people was Bardock, Goku's dad. Of course, Granola is absolutely confused. My hatred was misguided this whole time? Dragon Ball Super good writing in 2021? I'm joking.
Vegeta and Granola fighting. Crazy, mind-blowing chapter.
There is fighting in Dragon Ball, mind-blowing.
I gotta say, I've been loving the Saiyan focus as of late in the manga.
As opposed to what? The focus the Saiyans get in every arc since the beginning of Z?
Dragon Ball Super hasn't hyped me up this much with Vegeta's new form in a really long time.
Because Vegeta is not getting a power-up in every arc and it's not hyped up every single time.
Vegeta has been glorious this arc. This has been his arc so far, rather than Goku's. He transforms to Ultra Ego Vegeta, but Vegeta actually leaves himself wide open to be killed and Goku has to release a shockwave that barely saves him from a mortal wound in time.
Oh wow, a power-up that is rendered completely useless in a chapter right after its introduction. What an amazing twist that is not a repeat of previous useless power-ups.
For us Vegeta fans who want to see Vegeta get the W, we've come to accept this kind of stuff from Vegeta.
They get hyped up for Vegeta getting a power-up, and when Goku saves the day as always, they claim they were expecting him to get the L. Then why were you hyped?
There's definitely been plenty of Vegeta greatness already, and great to see him coming in once more and getting another chance to win this. Again, Goku saves his bro Vegeta.
No matter how many times he tries to win, it never happens and Goku saves the day. Yet you are still hyped, you expect him to win, and you know he will lose every single time.
Monai Toad, he explains that 40 years ago, the one who saved them was Bardock.
Oh, what a shocking revelation. Something Monaito couldn't have revealed 40 years ago, so that Granola wouldn't have to spend his life in seeking revenge. The writing is amazing!
Showing just how idiotic and oversimplified Granola's revenge against all Saiyans was.
Unlike the rest of the show, which is not idiotic and simplified, only his revenge plan is.
We're just so excited to see Bardock being brought back into the story. We may well get some Bardock flashback now, and I cannot be happier about that.
Yes, be hyped for more dead Saiyans coming back in this, as of lately, Saiyan-focused show. I can't wait to see the rebooted Bardock being a kind-hearted sissy like Broly instead of the merciless chads Saiyans used to be in retro times.
This arc of Dragon Ball Super is amazing in my view, and I'm enjoying it much more than the Moro arc.
The current arc is always better than the previous arc, which means that the show gets better and better. And that is why Dragon Ball Super is better than Dragon Ball Z, which in turn is better than the original series. And that is what being a Dragon Ball fan in 2021 is all about. So the trailer for the next Dragon Ball movie came out and it's trash. Everybody hated it, since the only reason people watch Dragon Ball movies is for pretty colors and mindless fighting. This movie will have neither of that, since it's going to be slice of life with cancer CGI visuals. On the other hand, the apologists of Dragon Ball, who are basically all the clout chasers, rushed to defend it by mentioning all the typical excuses they use for every shonen they are milking for views and money. Here are the most typical of them.
Personally, I have high expectations. I know people are gonna, like I said, rate it down because CGI, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Beastars is a perfect representation of how CGI can be done right. And so I have faith.
Did you hear that? The cancer CGI is not cancer CGI, because a completely different show looked somewhat good in CGI. And because one show out of the hundreds looked nice, then this movie will be amazing. Also, let's ignore completely how people are used to watching 2D Dragon Ball for decades and not PlayStation 2 cutscenes. Why would you not like PlayStation 2 Dragon Ball cutscenes when a completely different show looks so nice? Have faith, it will be amazing!
Railing the movie and saying it's gonna be bad because of CGI, I think you're not giving the movie a chance.
You are not giving it a chance, people! You are watching it for the mindless action with pretty colors, and you are not giving it a chance for not being what you like! How dare you! You should be consuming products instead and then be excited for more products!
I actually am looking forward to a slice of life focus. It's going to be so different, and I do like the experimentation with the movie.
You heard that, people? Slice of life is different, therefore you should be excited for it. You shouldn't want more mindless action and pretty colors. You should like stuff like what they do in My Hero Academia. Remember that episode they were showing their rooms? That was so exciting, wasn't it? Remember the school musical? That was so interesting and nobody got bored. Maybe how the 5th season had terrible visuals and nobody minded them? It wasn't bad, it was experimental.
Piccolo training Pan. Now this instantly piques my interest because probably one of my favorite stuff of Dragon Ball Z growing up as a kid was seeing Piccolo helping out Gohan and raising him. I'm looking forward to seeing stuff like that because it'd be very reminiscent and nostalgic.
Remember everything he said about liking it for being different? Well, forget it because he changed his mind. He wants to watch it for a rehash of stuff we have seen already, far better in the past.
You also have hints that Goku is going to be training Broly. Also, we get to see nods that the Red Ribbon Army is back. This is the time where they might reintroduce Cell. There is a lot going on. I mean, you even have Vegeta in his pink shirt.
Who cares about experimental shit? Just milk the nostalgia by rehashing the same stuff over and over again without any tension or stakes because it's going to be slice of life bullshit.
What a day to be a Dragon Ball fan.
Looks like Dragon Ball grew up with us finally.
The re-characterization or the changing in general of Bardock ever since Toriyama wrote him into the Dragon Ball Super Broly film and retconned the backstory that we had in one of the greatest pieces of Dragon Ball storytelling ever. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. That was a different Bardock. It's clear as day. Bardock isn't as cruel as he was showcased in that TV special. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter, and he's been retconned in the Broly film. Unfortunately, as godlike as that Bardock TV special was, they're just using it at this point as a canvas to change things up and do what they will with the story of Bardock. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. What we knew about Bardock from that TV special isn't necessarily the canonical Bardock to the Dragon Ball Super verse that we have in front of us. We can't really use it as complete basis because it's been retconned at this point. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. Also, it's been retconned now that it was actually Bardock that named Goku Kakarot. Again, very uncharacteristic of Bardock. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. Vegeta's like, well, we know that soft spot runs in the family, and Bardock wasn't soft. That's something that I don't want to come into fruition of, like, yo, Bardock is now known as a softie, a soft spot type of dude. And I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. It's been very much so established continuity wise that the Saiyans were some wild people, you know what I'm saying? The reason why Goku became a good person was not because of Bardock. Bardock was, yeah, he was an asshole, he was a murderer. It was only because Goku bumped his head that he became a good guy. It's not about the soft spot coming from his father. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. It's trying to change the fact that Goku was never going to be a wild person, which I don't like that retcon, honestly. I don't feel like it's because Bardock was a good guy that Goku should be a good guy connected to that. Like, I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. The biggest recharacterization that changes what Bardock is towards the end of his life and possibly again, unfortunately, retcons the TV special. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. Unfortunately, retcons one of the greatest pieces of Dragon Ball media, but I've accepted that since the Broly film. I'll be honest with you, honestly, I really enjoyed this chapter. I like this chapter. I've been an idiot all this time. I've been a dumbass all this time. What have I done? It's looking like Goku and Vegeta might actually be playing basically secondary support opposed to being the main enchilada, which is very, very different. Somewhere that the series hasn't really gone in its entirety. Has been notoriously pushing that it is the Goku and Vegeta show and ultimately the Goku show. I don't think this has happened so far in Dragon Ball. It's not going to be the Goku and Vegeta show solely. Somewhere that the series hasn't really gone in its entirety. They seemingly are pushing Goku and Vegeta to be secondary characters in this whole big thing. I don't think this has happened so far in Dragon Ball.
Goku and Vegeta playing second fiddle, essentially, to Granola in this battle against Gas, somewhere that the series hasn't really gone in its entirety. I haven't seen anything like that.
Never really seen done before.
Some hackers hacked into Toei Animation system and messed things up, and because of that, anything else that Toei Animation may have, under wraps that they're working on right now, including potentially a Dragon Ball Super TV anime, like, again, that hasn't been greenlit or anything like that, hasn't been confirmed, but, a Dragon Ball anime are going to be on an indefinite hiatus. If they got to, like, Dragon Ball Super related stuff, if they have been working on the TV anime, or if they're working on something else following that film, oh my god, it'll probably be even longer of a wait for the Dragon Ball Super anime to return. Hasn't been greenlit or anything like that, hasn't been confirmed. Wow, that just kind of hit me. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super is going to take extra long to come back now due to this hack. Hasn't been greenlit or anything like that, hasn't been confirmed. If they deleted 10 episodes worth of, Dragon Ball Super TV anime, ooh, this is going to be troublesome. Hasn't been greenlit or anything like that, hasn't been confirmed.
Saitama can beat anyone with one punch, that is his ability. No, his ability is that he has a lot of physical strength. Also, he legit said he's a gag character worded differently. Has he ever lost? Saying that he never lost in his own universe doesn't say shit, cause if Goku was in his universe too, he would never lose either. You don't know that. All you know is Goku lost 1,000 times, Saitama didn't. Next question. Has Saitama failed to beat someone with one punch? Yes, Boros! Incorrect, he was holding back. True, and in the end, with his serious punch, he only moved clouds, while Goku can destroy universes! Has he? In the latest chapter, all he does is being hit by a train, lol. If a train can beat Goku, then Saitama can too. First it said that his fight with the God of Destruction would destroy the universe. He didn't, and he won't. Second, it stated the gods of destruction could destroy a universe and Goku is stronger than one. Also, he became a god of destruction. And Saitama can beat anyone without even blowing up the universe. In the recent arc, he's about to beat Zeno, lol. How is he about to beat Zeno when they aren't even in the same universe? The Zeno of his show, the creator of the universe. Dude, if you're just gonna say stupid and random shit, stop messaging me and wasting my time! You're the one who wanted this. There, see, you wanted it. And you can't even refute what I said, you just ran away, lol. Saitama is about to beat Zeno with a punch and Goku loses to a train! You are the stupidest person who said anything in this post!
The controversy surrounding Bardock's wish to the dragon regarding his son. What type of horse manure is this right now? Almost 30 freaking years and we're getting massive changes to the Dragon Ball story in terms of essentially everything that happened in the beginning was due to Bardock's wish. And you know that quote-unquote accident where Grandpa Gohan was holding him and he fell down and bumped his head and he changed from a wild kid to all of a sudden a good kid? Yeah, that actually was thanks to Bardock's wish. Straight up a retcon. Hands down, Dragon Ball has retconned something from like 30 freaking years ago, the very beginning of Dragon Ball, Bardock the father of Goku, which has been completely retconned. Now, never had any of that. For, again, almost 30 years, Dragon Ball fans have been waiting for actually happened, but again, it retcons and everything that you knew about Dragon Ball and Bardock in terms of from back in the day, kinda gotta throw that out the window at this point. The Dragon Ball fandom in general has been going crazy, going nuts over everything that's been going down with the Dragon Ball Super manga since they brought in Bardock. The sales have been up, the popularity has been up, it's trending constantly. Dragon Ball is constantly trending because of, hey, you got one of the big mascots that people love in here. Dragon Ball Super with select characters can go from like, it's alright to holy cow, this arc is crazy. Frieza transforms into a new state that he calls Bardock Frieza and rushes towards Goku and Vegeta. Black Frieza, baby. Oh my god. I feel like there's different levels to being an anime fan. Toyotaro and Toriyama were told, end this arc already. Nobody wants to read this anymore. And they decided, well, Frieza. Frieza's the answer all the time. Resurrection F, Frieza. Tournament of Power, Frieza. Get rid of the goddamn heaters, you need Frieza. Oh my god, what a bar. Get rid of the heaters, you better get Frieza. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I ain't gonna lie, this is the most hype I've been for the Dragon Ball Super manga in a minute. You reach a certain point where it's like the final level of being an anime manga fan. I guess that's really what brings us all back to Dragon Ball. It's the familiar elements in an epic and even heightened fashion. I will say that it did feel like a little bit of a cop-out. Frieza saying, I wasn't here for you guys today. What the fuck you mean you wasn't here for them? You've been here for them ever since you was reborn again, when you was resurrected. So I don't know what's that about. I've kind of reached the mountaintop. Black Frieza. Baby, I want to see more. I need more of this. Oh my god, it sounds like the next arc. This was freaking amazing. It really brought me to a different state. This sounds absolutely incredible. And Black Frieza, baby, there's better be a setup for more. There's better be a setup for, I want to get back to the realms of like, yo, that Tournament of Power feeling where it was just like unpredictable. We're gonna get crazy strong battles and stuff like that. I want to get back to that. And with Frieza returning, new forms and everything, that gotta be set up for more epicness, and that he's trained for 10 freaking years. Like, let's freaking go. It takes a lot more to wow me, to make me go holy shit. It just feels like it was like wrap it up and do it epically, and this was their best outcome of just get Frieza. Hey, he gets the most convenient power-ups, Golden Frieza and Black Frieza, but here we are. You know, the final level of anime. Most hype I've been for Dragon Ball Super. Daddy's home, baby. Frieza back, Black Frieza. I thought I was not going to like this film or be able to enjoy it, and I'm referring to Dragon Ball Super Superhero, the movie. I've always been very much so, and more so 2D enthusiast, and always feel like 3D, which is at this point the inevitable future, is going to, you know, wipe out our great and beautiful quality that we have with 2D animation. But I have to be real with it. Dragon Ball Superhero, the movie, I loved it. Maybe it's because of where I'm at in my life. So personally, it's like, yo dog, I feel almost like so hardcore. I could relate with Gohan and his relationship with Pan and working and all of that stuff. I feel very much so I could kind of sympathize with the character, and it kind of immerses you more on an emotional standpoint. And yeah, it delivered. Yo dog, Trunks, he been through a lot. Remember, he came back twice already from post-apocalyptic timelines, going through living nightmares, seeing his best friends die. It's nice to finally see Trunks, whether it be a different version of him or a different timeline version of him, have a normal life. Honestly, if you really think about it, how much bullshit more do you want to see Trunks go through? So to see him just living life, chasing after Mai, which that was kind of a funny situation throughout the chapter, it is more meaningful because it's like, he deserves this. He went through so much, and even if it's not necessarily the Trunks from those timelines, this is what he fought for. So the Trunks of this timeline at the very least can live good. So kudos to the Switch to a certain degree, because it's worth it. He deserves it. Honestly, this could be the birth of Dragon Ball being a CGI 3D franchise. Moving forward, we don't have to really invest much money to create anything else if we do another 3D CG, because now we don't got to invest damn near a penny into the next movie other than creating backgrounds and paying the voice actors. But in terms of art and animation, they have all the character models already. They got Goku, they got Vegeta, they got Gohan, they got Piccolo, they got Krillin, they got everybody already made.
Oh no! Dragon Ball is gonna start reusing the same material!
Next movie, even if it does, let's just say it goes all the way down to Resurrection F, $70 million, or even less than that, they probably are only putting in very minimal dollars into making the thing anyways. So it's probably going to be a lot more profitable than starting from scratch with 2D.
This has never happened before! Dragon Ball repeating itself? This is new!
They don't have to do much. Like the Goku model that they already made, all they gotta do is like, okay, well, show him in his other form. So, you know, just make his hair a little different or whatnot. It's already there. So I could totally see Dragon Ball becoming a full-on 3D CGI franchise.
My goodness. Dragon Ball became modern. Right now, it's gonna start reusing the same material. This is new.
If they don't really gotta spend much to make things moving forward, they're gonna go with that option. By the time, you know, you're 4 or 5 movies in, again, you're only making new characters and slight new backgrounds. You're not really doing much because every other cast member is already created. Everything is there for them.
Remember when Dragon Ball was two-dimensional and it wasn't using any of the same ideas ever before? Things really are going bad for that franchise right now that it's becoming 3D. Not before, but right now.
Rumor realm, in terms of, there's been big rumors for Dragon Ball for quite some time, and now that we're heading towards Goku Day, a lot of fans are speculating and rumors are surfacing that seemingly the big rumored Dragon Ball online anime that was supposed to be coming, it was supposed to be a net anime, is actually going to be announced on Goku Day. The holiday has put Dragon Ball fans on red alert. It's been 2 years since we got an anime order. After all, Dragon Ball Super Superhero did well in theaters across the globe, and of course Dragon Ball Super Broly hit a home run back in 2018. If Dragon Ball wants to put out a new film every 4 years or so, we're due for its announcement at the very least. But if a movie is off the table, maybe something else is on the way. After all, one rumor has consistently stuck around the Dragon Ball fandom for months now. Net citizens such as Chronicles continue to suggest a Dragon Ball web anime is in the works. As we near Goku Day, some are wondering whether Dragon Ball will confirm the rumor with an announcement at long last. What better a day than Goku Day to announce, hey, new Dragon Ball incoming? And it's been a little bit, like I said, since Dragon Ball Superheroes has actually been a thing, although they're still milking it with the manga readapting, and I'm like, why? I'm missing Dragon Ball right now, I'm just saying. But yeah, the rumor realm is going wild that they're believing May 9th, Goku Day, we will get an announcement of some sort regarding Dragon Ball animation. It's past Goku Day. If there's a day named after Goku, chances are you would want to utilize that. Fans were very optimistic about this, you know, alleged rumored web anime that's been in the works for quite some time, but there was a big announcement that was so disappointing. Because Toei Animation, the company behind the Dragon Ball anime, had teased that there was an unlisted article announcement for Dragon Ball, and the big announcement was, in honor of Goku Day, May 9th, they were giving away a special video game. That's the big announcement. Nothing to do with, you know, new animation. A little one-shot manga would have been kind of cool. Another episode of Bardock. You know, no, none of that. Oh, you're giving away a game that we could all go buy. Oh.
There is a new Dragon Ball anime coming out. No, it's not Dragon Ball Super. Many of you hoped it would be Dragon Ball Super, including me. Will not be like Dragon Ball Super. It's not. It's different. It's gonna be animated in not like superhero. We're going back to the old way it used to be. Thank God for that, right? Aimed at a younger audience, I would not expect gore in this one. Some of y'all will be disappointed in this, but you have to remember what happened when Broly and Superhero were announced. When Broly was announced, everyone was like, oh my God, they're bringing back Broly, this is gonna suck. And then the movie came out, oh man, that was awesome. Superhero, oh man, we wanted Moro, you know, whatever. Then it comes out, hey, that was pretty good. Look, you have a right to your opinion, but at least wait until the show comes out. If it sucks, yo, I'll be the first one to tell you. Trust me. Everyone's gonna be happy anyways. It's new Dragon Ball. Again, not a recreation of GT. Don't expect the Shadow Dragons. However, will we see Super Saiyan 4? This is gonna take Dragon Ball back to what it used to be, which I love. That's different, and I like different. Like, we're still gonna have Super, but I like that they're trying something new. Toriyama borrowing ideas from GT. It's not a recreation, borrowing ideas like with Broly. Same thing with Broly, taking ideas and then reshaping them in his own image, which he can do because it's his original characters. He created this thing. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's got that clout, the real clout, you know what I mean?
We will have literally been in basically a recap for a year. At the same time, we'll give Toyotaro and Toriyama fresh ideas and whatnot. So I was fine with that. Are they just fucking out of touch and dumb as shit? Thought it would have been, wish it would have been. We start off with a readaptation of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. Nobody was really happy about that. So by the time you get to Universe 6, by the time it's like, oh, new stuff, everybody's through the roof. And then you get a Goku Black and it's like, oh, shit, this is crazy. But
do you really get that hype if you start off with maybe Tournament of Power type of stuff, or just in general some original stuff? I feel like they do these things where it's like artificial destruction, so to speak, in order to make it more palatable and easier to digest and lower expectations in general. What's wrong with these people? Are you stupid? Acting like I'm fine is getting harder to pretend. Even going back to the end of the Super anime, we are at an all-time high of every week, and yo, we're gonna stop it now. In order to make sure that things don't crash and burn for their IPs, oftentimes they make these moves that are less than stellar, to say the least, in order to decrease some of the hype or decrease the expectations. And then they go ham. When Broly comes, everybody's gonna get crazy regardless. Like, oh shit, not only people are already gonna get excited about Broly, but now they've had so many months apart from the Super anime, they're already missing it, that they're gonna take whatever. And it makes you question, like, yo, nah, they gotta be fucking dumb. Maybe I was wrong, it was me all along. This weekend, we're about to learn of Dragon Ball Magic, a new Dragon Ball anime that has nothing to do with Super continuing. It's Goku turning into a kid, which is like all the things that people hated about GT. And again, that makes you question, like, why would you do these things that people have historically hated? It lowers the expectations, it tempers people's expectations, it makes people feel like it makes the hardcores feel desperate, which the hardcores are gonna be the mouthpiece. So now the hardcore fans that, you know, they don't give a it could be a chapter of Goku wiping his ass after taking a shit, and these people are on it in there like swimwear. The hardcores are just going to be desperate. They're just going to be desperate that whatever comes after this adaptation, they are sold on it, no matter what. So, and again, they're going to get the algorithms going. They're going to get the people talking. They're going to be the ones that are going to spread the word like, yo, there's a new arc. Oh my god, Goku's a fucking orange giraffe now. Yeah! They're stupid as hell and they don't understand what they're doing. Thought it would have been, wish it would have been. All of the elements of GT that people hated, Goku being a child and all of this other stuff, that's not a selling point. So why would you put all those ingredients into a web anime unless, again, you're doing this with an idea of this is how you get it done to make it so when you do get Moro, when you do get Granola, you're jumping out of your chair because we've been starving the living crap out of you. It's genius. Still serving the people, but not serving them necessarily what they want, so when eventually they do get what they want, they're happy. I say all that to say it's bullshit. Acting like I'm fine is getting harder to pretend. Once it returns, it's going to explode. Once it returns, it's going to be bigger than ever because everybody's going to be missing it. It flat out feels like BS. It flat out feels like they, at the same time, just milking it because they can. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them, bro. Maybe I was wrong. It was me all along. Everybody just completely not into this thing. Get this out of here. We don't want this. We didn't ask for this. I want it. I'm excited. I'm excited for fun. We had all the dark stuff. I want fun. Why can't I enjoy it? Why can't I be excited about it if I'm like, yo, it's still Dragon Ball at the end of the day? Despite fans' criticisms, despite fans not being excited about this, I can bet my bottom dollar that once things kick off, once we get the big bad villain of the series, and we got Goku and Vegeta going into new forms and all that, everybody is going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be excited, loving it. I bet you we're going to rock with it in the end. As long as they don't play it too much with this kiddie stuff, as long as they start giving us elements of, again, a big bad villain, the forms, I think fans is going to be turning around to it, and people are going to be reminiscing about how much they enjoyed this fight and that fight, and people are going to be doing predictions and theories. It's going to be a big deal.
Definitely feels like this is more of an adult Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball with this arc grew up with us finally.
The Dragon Ball Dick Riders have already spread propaganda regarding why we should all be excited for the upcoming series. From the information they have so far, it's going to be better animated than Super. It will be a passion project of Toriyama, unlike Super, which was a cash grab. It's going to be something entirely different instead of a rehash of the same stuff over and over again. And down to it, whatever they say doesn't really matter. Everything they say that makes a show that is not even out yet better than Super, which is over for many years, doesn't change the fact that they were hyping the hell out of Super while it was staring. So what if it was badly animated? What if it was a cash grab? What if it was a rehash of DBZ? They hyped the hell out of it, they were making theories about what comes next, they were calling it amazing, they had gatherings of thousands in city centers so they could watch the latest episode, and they were not admitting it's a crappy show made for power scalers. So it doesn't matter what they say about the supposed quality of the next series, because they will be in favor of it regardless of how bad it is. Quality doesn't matter if you're a dick rider or a fanboy. Everything you say doesn't matter in general, because at the end of the day, you will be in full support of it even if you don't say a word. This is why negativity is important. And I am not talking about being slightly critical of something after it's over, just so you can hype up the next product you are supposed to be excited about.
The last year of Dragon Ball Super was a waste of time. They wasted a year of Dragon Ball fans' lives. This remake of the superhero movie into manga, garbage, man. I don't care. Everybody already experienced that movie. You remade it for a year straight, making people think, even with Chapter 100, there was murmurings like, oh, the way they hyped it up was ridiculous. They said there's a shocking thing that's supposed to happen, so stay tuned. People were like, oh, they about to change it up. The superhero movie ain't gonna be the same in the manga. They're gonna bring in Perfect Cell. They're gonna show more of Beast, Gohan. Orange Piccolo's gonna do something crazy. And it was the exact same story as the movie. Therefore, I say shred it, incinerate it, waste of time. We could have had a year's worth of more story of enjoying new adventures with Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and the rest of the Z Warriors. There's nothing you can make me do to change my mind. They wasted a year of our lives with this BS. When we have the movie, we watch the movie. Who wants more of the superheroes? Like, am I wrong in saying that there's a reason why Kama, after X amount of chapters, bailed on the Great Saiyaman arc and just jumped straight into Majin Buu and stuff like that? It's because in Dragon Ball, nobody really wants that. Shit, somebody bring in Saitama. Anybody but Goten and Trunks as superheroes. We don't want it. But I guess Dragon Ball Daima, we won't have to worry about that because everybody is kids now. Yay! Keep this recap bullcrap and let's get on to the next story of Dragon Ball while we're at it. And yeah, the headline here says Dragon Ball Super may not be done with its superheroes yet. Oh my god, please! Please! Oh god, somebody call a medic! Call him. No! What is this? The latest volume of Dragon Ball Super, despite it being, again, more of the re-adaptation of the superhero film, is actually still selling decent, which is like, this is y'all fault. Y'all are to blame. Y'all did this one, okay? Because why are y'all buying this and telling them that we want this? So if we get more of Goten and Trunks running around in spandex and all this other stuff, it's y'all to blame. You!
What was this trailer that we got? Was it something that basically showcased more of the world? More of things to do with the characters and the general plot? Not exactly. What it wasn't the Goku trailer, with many people in the audience just shouting, "We want Moro!" every few seconds. Whereas a few years ago, everyone goes, "We hate Moro!" For several weeks, everyone was berating Daima, hating on Daima, saying, "Nah man, this ain't it." And they were just looking at all the negative comments and just hating Daima and saying, "I'm not watching Daima, I want Super 2, I want Moro." Whereas a few years ago, everyone goes, "We hate Moro!" It got so much flack, so now they're just going, "Now children, this is a Goku, and he's going on these lovely adventures in space. Yes, I know he's small again. No, don't spit out your dummy, no." I'm not gonna lie, that was incredibly patronizing, and you don't need to showcase it like that for us to get used to Goku as a kid again. All it does is reinforce that this is what Daima is all about and no other characters matter. And yes, of course, Dragon Ball is pretty much the Goku show. But all it's doing is just going, right, we'll just constantly force this down people's throats and make people get used to this. That means they are numb and desensitized to it before we then give them the other sort of stuff. I don't think it's working. I really don't think it's working at all. We want Moro! We only got like 3 images. Most of them we already saw, and the hyping of said images was not in keeping with the audience in the room. And we didn't even get a Q&A or something like that. We want Moro! It does not work. The entire thing with Victory Uchida and Toyotaro, their interviews, and hyping up Chapter 100 when there was nothing to get hyped about. He wants to capture the international appetite. And the way they've done it, nah, this ain't it. We want Moro!
One of the most prevalent complaints in the Dragon Ball fandom for the longest time is the fact that it's not being innovative with the transformations, and if that's one of the main questions and the main things on fans' minds is, oh my god, what's the power up going to be like when Goku goes to, a new form, and it's basically just another change to the color palette of his hair, Dragon Ball kinda needs to find a new way. And with stuff like Dragon Ball Daima on the way, you can expect our favorite Saiyan warriors to have more transformations to come, just hopefully it's not something that we've seen 1,000 times or just changing the color of their hair. Dragon Ball has the potential, if it really wants to explore concepts, powers, and designs that could be utilized for a generation. It's done it once before. Hopefully Dragon Ball can do it again. Toei Animation, Toyotaro, and everybody involved. Come on, think outside the box. Let's get something more like Super Saiyan 4 and less like, Ultra Instinct and every other hair color swap. Dragon Ball has all the opportunities in the world now to actually try and experiment with different looks for different transformations. Dragon Ball Daima could be the savior franchise we've been waiting for. Maybe they can use this series and showcase some epic transformations that the fans have never thought of. Kind of going back more into that primal apish look that was going on in Super Saiyan 4 or in general with the Uzuru transformation. Use Dragon Ball Daima for some good, darn it.
Now children, this is a Goku, and he's going on these lovely adventures in space. Yes, I know he's small again. No, don't spit out your dummy, no.
With this video, I want to kind of give my thoughts on what Toriyama has meant to me. This is going to be 100% from the heart, how I feel. We have shirts, we have hoodies, we have hats, we have prints, all available in the store right now. I'll leave a link down below, but hurry, it'll only be for a limited time.
The milking of Toriyama's death is proceeding as planned, and I'm gonna be exposing shields who are taking advantage of that. Starting with this one who is trying to make it sound like his passing is the end of an era. Why is everything either the beginning or the end of an era? And what the heck do they have to do with someone passing away? They make it sound like Toriyama's era began when he was born, which doesn't make any sense, does it now? Despite having written other manga and having illustrated many games, Toriyama became famous when Dragon Ball Z became popular in America. He has been popular ever since. Even when there was no anime airing, even when the past year was nothing but the adaptation of the superhero moving manga form, for which nobody gives a shit about. That was the beginning of his era, and even then it was only in the fighting shonen genre. Because guess what, there are other genres. Not everyone is into fighting. Also, his era didn't end with his death because people did not magically stop caring about Dragon Ball. And they won't stop caring long after he is dead. The video games and gacha games will keep being made, and so will the manga and the upcoming Babies anime. This behemoth of a franchise is not gonna magically stop existing without him, the same way Disney did not stop existing after Walt passed away. Especially when you know Toriyama was only giving a few directions and wasn't doing anything on his own for decades. Thus no era has ended, the franchise will keep on going without him, and even if someone says it got bad without Toriyama's involvement, guess what? It has been bad ever since Namek ended. The super manga, the fighting games, the upcoming Babies anime, all that are just milking the success of the first half of Dragon Ball Z. The franchise never got any better than that period, but it never died either. The games will keep on coming, the manga will continue to be made, and Dragon Ball Multiverse will keep on being the best non-official airing title even without Toriyama. So yeah, screw anyone like this guy and his stupid end of the era claims.
Everything that I love is ending, you're taking it all from me.
Next on the shields who are taking advantage of Toriyama's passing are those who all of a sudden want to remember all the good times they had with him, because they had forgotten him apparently and remembered he exists only after he is dead. If not that, then to mention how much he meant to them, because they grew up together, they went on so many trips together, and they drew so many popular manga together. Oh wait, None of that are true because they know shit about Toriyama. They never met him, they have no idea how he was like, and the only thing they ever liked about him was Dragon Ball. They have no memories of him and he means nothing to them because the only memories they have is of Dragon Ball, and the only thing that matters to them is Dragon Ball. But they can't admit it because that would make it seem like they only care about consuming products and being excited for more products. Also, why would they do something normal such as setting apart the author from his work? No way, they are the same thing. And why would they consider a person they only read his work being any different from the people they meet on a daily basis and who can be considered actual friends and family? Come on, there is no difference. Parasocial relationships are the same thing as actual relationships. It's why everything that happens in One Piece is because Oda made it. It's not because it makes sense in story. Oda made a new revelation. Oda confirms this theory. Oda was inspired by this tale. It's the same thing with Toriyama. It's not Dragon Ball the only thing they like. It's Toriyama. Now excuse me as I pay $100 on OnlyFans so my actual wife who loves only me will spread her butt cheeks only for me because she's my actual wife and I know everything about her because I'm following her on Instagram. The sad thing is that I said the exact same things about Miura, but very few of you understand what I meant, despite how obvious it is that none of you know these people. You only know the works they made, and even then you only give a shit if you like those works. A few years back when Reiji Matsumoto died, I saw almost no videos about him, despite having made several classic anime. There was nobody who grew up with him, or went to trips together, or had him as a roommate in the same college. Nobody said that because nobody cares anymore about Space Battleship Yamato or Captain Harlock, which were a big deal during the 70s and the 80s. That's all there was to it. They are not popular anymore, so nobody remembers Matsumoto. You know as much about Toriyama as you know about Matsumoto, but for some reason, you only have fond memories about the first guy. That's why anyone who makes videos about a famous deceased mangaka is a big hypocrite. They just like Dragon Ball, which is something you can rewatch whenever you feel like it, and there is going to be a lot more Dragon Ball in the future. It didn't die, nobody took it away from you, and nobody made you forget all about it just because the creator died.
Everything that I love is ending, you're taking it all from me.
It's all one big hypocrisy because you don't want to admit you just like a product and know nothing about the creator. The only thing you are sad about is a brand owned by a multi-million company changing ownership of the copyrights. That's all there is to it, and that's all you know about the actual people involved. Deal with it.
You really want to take it all from me, huh? Just everything. Hopefully there's a spin-off or a sequel or something.
There's already a couple of slime balls who are going to accuse me and other content creators of trying to profit off this man's name. I'm not trying to profit off this man's name. I was very hurt by the passing of this man, and I'm still mourning it. I've been a fan of his since I was 4, and like, this video is just to keep people informed. I just wanted to say that because if these videos keep coming, like, I'm not going to put any promos on them. I'm not going to put any like sponsorships. It's not about that. It's about giving the news to the fandom.
This next grifting attempt by those who want to exploit Toriyama's death is extra vile since they are openly telling you to pay money. They try to mask it as if you are supporting Toriyama's legacy by liking Dragon Ball babies, but what they are actually doing is guilt-tripping you into paying money to multi-million companies because you have fond memories of a show you watched decades ago. So in case it isn't obvious, you are not supposed to support a damn thing. You are not committed to do anything just because Toriyama was involved. What you actually like is Dragon Ball Z, which ended 30 years ago. You know nothing about Toriyama and you owe nothing to the multi-million company that is milking his manga ever since. Don't fool yourselves to think Toriyama's involvement promises a quality product. GT was forgettable, Super was horrendous, and Babies is gonna be even worse. You don't have to support a bad product just because a famous name is slapped on it. You are not obligated to financially support the multi-million company he worked for, and you are definitely not supposed to believe Babies is gonna be the anime of the year that is going to crush the Crunchyroll servers. Therefore, you have to watch it out of fear of missing out on the hype. There is no hype. People hated this show since the moment it was announced. If their opinion changed because Toriyama passed away, does not mean they no longer hate the very existence of this cash grab. They are only afraid to say something negative about someone who passed away, as if death gives to a product immunity to slander. It doesn't. It's the same product, regardless of who lives or dies. And no, his absence from the storyboards is not gonna make the product worse. When he stopped planning ahead ever since Namek ended, and his previous work was the abomination known as Dragon Ball Super. This disgusting article, which is not even written by a human but by an AI, is exploiting people's nostalgia and the death of a creator to enrich the pockets of a multi-million company. It also wants you to feel guilty because you're not opening your wallet to prove to the masses how much you support a brand. What kind of terrible tactics are these? And you know the worst part? This is not even going to be limited to this article. When Babies comes out, every freaking sellout is gonna be using the same words to guilt trip you into liking a needless cash grab, to give it a high score and to buy merchandise based on it. And countless idiots are gonna fall for it because they would wanna show how much they care about a man they never met and know nothing about by parading all the money they've given to a multi-million company. Well then, screw those people in advance. I will be here shitting on them on a daily basis because they're all NPCs and deserve to be mocked. Isn't it amazing how people can be talking for hours over the most insignificant things? On this image you see 7 videos. They are not from 7 different channels talking about the same chapter. They are not the same channel talking about 7 different chapters. It's the same channel talking about the same chapter. Said chapter is not even important plot-wise. It's just a friendly spar between characters. There is no plot, no tension, no mystery, no flower symbolism, and nothing you can possibly theorycraft about it. And yet, somehow, channels like Geekdom can make 7 videos about the same nothing sus chapter and still make a lot of use out of it. Furthermore, since the next chapter will be delayed by who knows how long, because of Toriyama's passing, there will be no other chapter in the near future, so the same channel will keep on making more videos about the same chapter again and again and again, while of course plugging in advertisements and its own store so everyone can consume products and be excited about consuming products. You will probably ask, what's so bad about that? Why don't you let people enjoy what they like regardless of how shallow it is? The fans remain engaged and the creators make money even if the actual chapter has nothing to fuss about. The answer is you are told the actual quality of the product doesn't matter, when even a nothing chapter that comes out once a month, and now it's unknown if there is even gonna be another one, is enough to generate so much buzz. A creator does not need to try when he sees how easily the fans are pleased. It's 2024, 2 decades after the core series ended, and everyone is still content with hair color swaps and power level debates. They don't care if there is no plot or no tension. The chapter could be about Goku taking a dump, and they would still be talking for hours about it. Imagine how easily it is for these people to get pissed off when they see any other fan of any other show talking about any other chapter, asking them what the hell they are doing. They won't get it, they will get angry. Being part of a fandom for 2 decades, where all they are doing is discussing hair color swaps and having power level debates, fried their brains. You can show them any other manga with more substance and things to actually talk about, and the only thing they will say is, "But can he beat Goku?" It has not been about quality for a very long time now. It's about wasting your time and money on something that has no real substance for decades. The same can be said about many other things. There was a time when it was meaningful to be a fan of Dragon Ball or Star Wars or Avatar. When you don't want to admit all these franchises at some point devolve into meaningless cash grabs and money sinks, you are essentially wasting your time and money and sanity on things that don't matter, when you could be doing something more meaningful. It's why I am making fun of such people. They are hurting themselves, they are destroying the image of the very thing they are supposed to support, and they attack anyone who is trying to show them a way out. They deserve to be mocked because they want to be mocked. They chose to be wasting their limited time and resources on nothing. Or they chose to sell their dignity for making money out of people who don't know any better. This community is a joke, and it's why I will keep making fun of it, because that is what it chose to be. If you spend months talking about white-haired Goku, having a tensionless spar with orange-skinned Piccolo, and you spend hundreds of dollars on Dragon Ball t-shirts and Dragon Ball condoms, yo, I will make fun of it. The same way anyone would make fun of it.
In the book The Tao of Wu, written by Wu-Tang Clan member Robert Fitzgerald Diggs, he makes the claim that the story of Dragon Ball is the story of the American black man. Why is it that a bunch of what the progs would call white-coded protagonists in Dragon Ball are the most popular heroes among black and Hispanic viewers? Well, the actual answer is simple. The progs are just racists. They believe that black people can only relate to black characters, when in reality, skin color doesn't actually matter. But nonetheless, I'm not surprised that black men around my age do commonly report that this is what they got out of the story when they were kids. Goku is a character without parents. He's an orphaned foreigner who doesn't really fit in with the human world he's a part of. He's treated with suspicion. He doesn't know his lineage. And when he does eventually discover it when he's older, he learns that the alien race he's a part of has largely been enslaved and genocided. And despite being this outsider, he still ultimately does the right thing for the people around him, for the society that views him with suspicion, and for his family when he eventually has one. It's not like alienation from your own culture and family is a uniquely black American phenomenon. I think everyone's experiencing this right now to some degree. But this is actually a pretty good way for black Americans to frame the Dragon Ball story within the context of their own lives. Goku's story shows that you can be more than the tragedy of your ancestors, and that your descendants don't have to be defined by your hardships. Increasingly, it seems like the whole coded thing is just a way for you to say that you like something, therefore it has to be politically aligned with you. You can't just enjoy a thing anymore, you have to be down with the cause. This is all fucking retarded.
Once again, this video is about blacks appropriating Dragon Ball. I get comments by people who think I am lying. Like, there is nobody who says that, and then I get even more comments from people who say, it's just a joke, brah. Nobody says it seriously, it's just a meme. So basically, I am wrong, because nobody ever said Dragon Ball is black-coded, and even those who did were only joking about it. Okay then, the snub is wrong, nobody says it, and even those who say it are just joking about it. All you have to do is ignore all the evidence and hate the snub for telling the truth.
Piccolo's the black character, clearly. Piccolo's story is literally the journey of the black man, I don't even say in America, but just in general, the black man's journey from not knowing who he is to understanding the God in him. That is literally Piccolo's story. You trace it back. I've said this before on stream. You trace it back. Him going to Namek is like, you know, going back to Africa and understanding and leaving your worldly possessions behind and becoming one with, you know, your fellow man. The fusing with Kami is basically becoming one with God. It's literally the journey of the black man. And again, I would say even in America in particular, obviously because of the slave trade and all that, black people lost their identity. That's what I would say.
The only information that has come out about Daima has been 2 short trailers and some character art. There's been nothing out there about the plot, the characters, or the direction that's been officially released to the public.
We want Moro!
We didn't even get anything on Goku Day. You would think that would be the day you show something, anything, and we got nothing.
We want Moro!
Unfortunately, people have already formed their opinions on this show without even seeing a single episode. Not a day goes by where I don't see a comment where somebody refers to it as GT 2.0.
We want Moro!
Here we are in the middle of 2024 when the new series is starting months away and we barely know anything officially from the accounts about the plot, the characters, or where this series is going to go.
We want Moro!
Why is it that with Broly, there was new information coming out every week, interviews, some character information, models coming out, yet with this upcoming new series, which is being hailed as the final Dragon Ball project that Toriyama worked on when he was alive, being almost ignored?
We want Moro!
A new anime, which people have wanted since 2018, is barely spoken of, and all we get are some poorly photoshopped images. Here we have Daima, which could actually be more important because it's part of the legacy of Akira Toriyama, and yet we have nothing. I hate when motherfuckers are like shitting on Daima without even seeing it, making all these fucking assumptions when you literally don't know anything. You're just saying shit. It's verbal diarrhea. Dragon Ball Daima, I believe it'll be October. I actually think it'll be within a few weeks of Sparking Zero. San Diego Comic-Con should be the release date, and I believe that it will be. But what do I know? I just made everything up. I'm not just gonna sit here and like speculate. We're not doing that. I'm not sure exactly what day it is. It could be October or early November. They just haven't given us anything, but it looks like we're gonna get a few different things next month. It's over 20 episodes. I just don't know how many. It could be 28, it could be 35, it could be 100. I have no idea. I'm not sure about OGDB or GT, even though I think they'll be in. I'm pretty sure they'll be in the base game, but I can't guarantee it because there hasn't been an official announcement on that yet. I'm not sure what this merch is going to be exactly. I can't tell you, but we may get new character like models and how they look early. Super's going to be running in like July, August, September. Probably not July, but who knows? August, September, October. But it could be October. I mean, I don't know. I do not know. I really wish that people would just wait. Just wait. Wait. Be patient. We should all be patient. We're finally going to get some progression. Now we're actually finally getting some news. There's finally some new stuff dropping. We have to assume it's going to be a letdown due to the fact that we're going to see them as kids again. Come on, man. Be a little optimistic. 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 Would you rather get a new anime or nothing? Nothing. Nothing. I had a guy once tell me I'd rather get nothing, and I'm like, well, you can't even call yourself a fan then. You can't be a fan of Dragon Ball and not be excited for new Dragon Ball. Excited for new Dragon Ball. Excited for new Dragon Ball. If new Dragon Ball sucks, then you can be mad. But we don't know if it's gonna suck yet, so why assume it's gonna suck? Why assume it's gonna suck? Why assume it's gonna suck? It doesn't make sense. It's not marketable or exciting, but it is marketable and it is exciting. Maybe not to you, but it is marketable and it is exciting. It is marketable and it is exciting. I don't want to hate anything Dragon Ball, and if Daima sucks, I will shit on it. You have my word. You have my word. You have my word. But I'm not gonna go into fucking Daima assuming it's going to suck. Assuming it's going to suck. Assuming it's going to suck. Without even seeing a single episode, bro, Daima is mid. I can't be one of these motherfuckers that sees 1-2 trailers and it's like, this whole show's gonna suck. This whole show's gonna suck. This whole show's gonna suck. Oh, Daima's mid without seeing a single episode. Don't assume it's gonna suck. It could be great. It could be great. It could be great. I look at like everything that's happened in my life since I started this YouTube channel and all the great things it's given me, dude. My mom and dad never would have thought that I would be able to get to this point at where I am in my life, in my personal life, thanks to all the gifts that Toriyama has given us and the work we put into Dragon Ball. If you're listening to this and you're young, hard work and being a jack of all trades pays off, man. One of the best things you can do for yourself, learn a new skill. Put something good in your brain, man. Something that's going to be useful for life. Whatever you think is going to help you in life. Learn a lot of different things because each one will help you and make you a more well-rounded person. You want to have a nice brain, good instincts, and learn as much about stuff as you can because you don't want to end up being a bitter man crying on the internet all day about how nobody recognizes him and begging for money. You don't want to be that guy, bro. You don't want to be a pathetic human being like that, man. The more you know, the more you can. Anyways, guys, we're going to take calls and theories about Dragon Ball Daima. If you're one of the people that's like not happy about Daima, no one's forcing you to watch it. I'm going to predict what's going to happen. People are going to watch the first episode. Most are going to keep coming back. The rest of them are going to drop off. And then when episode 5 comes out and that little fight that I teased a year ago comes out or a few months ago comes out and it goes viral and all anybody's talking about is that fight, then they're all going to come back. Dragon Ball fans can't really stay away from Dragon Ball, even if it's Goku becoming a kid again. Alright, so we've got a massive Dragon Ball Daima news update. There's a lot of information here. I mean a ton of information. New characters have been revealed now. It makes me really sad that it has Toriyama's name on it and he passed away. Here is the main cast of Dragon Ball Daima. Interesting. If you're waiting for Super, it's not going to come till after Daima, and there's no word on any production on a Super anime. The manga, however, they are still on break for at least the next 2 months, and until we have an update on that, that's all that's going on right now. Great adventure with Goku and company have been turned small. Stay tuned for a Dragon Ball world no one has ever seen before. So, very exciting time. A new Dragon Ball show coming. When it comes to Daima, because we've already seen Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo have character arcs, I'm not necessarily certain that they're going to be the most interesting characters in Daima. But the villains of Dragon Ball Daima, what's going to make or break this show, I think, is going to be the villains. It's going to shape what your opinion is going to be about Daima. So there's more than just one new Majin, like Majin Buu-like creatures, to be introduced in Dragon Ball Daima.
You serious?
The Blood did add drama back in the day to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and Super didn't have almost any, right? Well, Daima is going to be a different animal because it has a different time slot. Because it's going to be on Friday night in Japan, this explains as to why there was blood in that first trailer. That tells me that Dragon Ball Daima will likely be a bit more violent than Dragon Ball Super was.
CBR has 10 reasons for why Dragon Ball fans are very excited about the upcoming Babies series. Let's go over them. After experimenting with CGI, Babies is gonna have traditional animation once again. So basically you should be excited because it's not going to be more a superhero movie cancer visuals. Something they only used once in one movie. 500 episodes and 20 movies of traditional animation over 40 plus years were not enough to keep you being excited after they used CGI once. Yay, hype. You get to see Kid Goku again, which means absolutely nothing for those who never got to watch the original show and began with DBZ. Actually, it won't mean anything even for those like me who got to watch the show from the actual beginning, because we are only getting the design of Goku, not the personality he had as a kid. He's not gonna be molesting every girl he comes across with his pat-pat move. And he's not gonna be brutally murdering his enemies and then eating them. That's the actual Kid Goku, and we are not getting it in this sanitized modern version. Also, let's be honest, nobody wants to see the DBZ characters being babies again. The show is made for very young children, and everyone being a baby looks stupid. Babies is an original story that doesn't adopt the Super manga, and instead does something completely different. That implies what you are getting so far is bad. And you should instead be excited for getting something you never wanted. Because apparently different is the same as better. Although the first reason he stated is, be excited because it's not gonna be like Superhero, which is completely different in animation from the rest of the franchise. And the next reason was, be excited to see Kid Goku again, which is something you have already seen. So what are you supposed to be excited about? Being the same or being different? Be excited because you get to see the power pole again. Really? Who gives a shit about the power pole? Weapons never mattered in this franchise. It's almost entirely about unarmed martial arts and energy beams. Be excited because Toriyama made it. Why would anyone be excited about that? Because he died and you should respect him? Did anyone give a shit about Sandland, which he also created? And was anyone complaining about the vague notes he wrote about the story of Super? Everyone was pleased with the garbage they were getting, even if they were just notes on toilet paper Toriyama wrote in a hurry. Nobody cares about the quality of the story, and they certainly don't care about who wrote it. Because if they did care, they would have crucified Toriyama for the abomination that is Super. They just wanna see Goku changing hair colors and exchanging energy beams with a villain. Be excited because there's gonna be a new setting to explore, and nobody gives a shit about the setting. They introduced a dozen universes, they did absolutely no exploration in them, and nobody complained when the Tournament of Power began. Dragon Ball is all about the fighting, it was never about exploration. This is not One Piece or Tower of God, it's about Goku changing hair colors and exchanging energy beams with a villain. Be excited because it returns to more fantasy elements. Oh yes, because there are no gods of destruction or magic Dragon Balls, it's all hard sci-fi, not. Dragon Ball was always about magic. All its explanations for how power-ups work are bullshit physics. It never made sense. This is not a reason. Be excited because everyone seems to be involved. Okay, this is actually a good reason, but who cares at this point? Who wants to see Yamcha and Puar being useful? They will be just getting in the way. Dragon Ball is a Saiyan circle jerk. Nobody else matters and the audience has accepted it. So no, nobody's excited about this. They won't anticipate Yamcha and Puar being useful again, okay? Be excited because there is emphasis to hand-to-hand fight scenes. While also being excited about the power pole being back, which is a weapon. See the bullshit this article is full of? Anyways, this is also a good reason, but like before, nobody's watching Dragon Ball for the choreographies. It's about Goku changing hair colors and exchanging energy beams with the villain. And the last reason is be excited because the Dragon Balls are important again. Because they never were used in the previous arcs. Nobody was making wishes. They had no effect on the plot, right guys? I don't even need to explain this any further. This entire article is bullshit. It was a slow day, so I checked out what other bullshit CBR said recently. This is what I found. Daima fixed the biggest problem of DBZ, which was the slow pacing. I don't have to quote anything from this bullshit article, since the mistakes are obvious. So I'll just go straight to the point and tell you the 3 reasons this article insults your intelligence. Number 1. It was written while Daima is still in its 3rd episode. There is no way to know it won't slow down or have fillers down the line, yet the author assumed it's going to remain that way. If anyone remembers the pacing of DBZ, it wasn't that slow in its early episodes, it got terrible at Namek. The same can be said about most shonen. They all start with okay pacing and slow down after a point. So essentially the author compared 3 episodes of an ongoing series with hundreds of episodes of a finished series without caring about the early episodes being well paced. And that's why this article is bullshit. Number 2. Pacing is something you mention when you don't like a series. If you do, you won't care if it moves too slow or too fast. One Piece fanboys will never admit the pacing is terrible because they like the show. Only non-fanboys are gonna say it because they don't blindly believe everything about it is perfect. It's the same case with this show. If people like Daima, they won't care about the pacing the same way they didn't care in DBZ. And that's why this article is bullshit. Number 3. The author compared a show from this year, which doesn't have an ongoing source material that it needs to stay away from by slowing down the pacing. DBZ was made at a time when the pacing of movies and series was much slower than today, and on top of that it was adapting material that was still ongoing and had to stay away from. They were made under completely different circumstances, and it's unfair to be compared that way. Now let's put all these reasons aside and mention a meta reason which is more important than pacing. DBZ, despite its flaws, is still a classic series that people still care about after 4 decades. Daima is a cash grab that was dead on arrival and has 0 cultural impact. Does it matter if its pacing is better when nobody cares about it and doesn't watch it? If you look at the bigger picture, nothing about its existence matters next to DBZ. Who gives a shit what it does better or worse? It's a forgettable cash grab. People are watching Dan 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 and Re:Zero, they play Sparkling Zero, and they would rather read Dragon Ball Multiverse. When it comes to Daima, they all say, I don't need it! Remember when the karma for a Dragon Ball Daima began at 2000? Well, by the time it got to episode 3, it dropped to 600. That's even lower than the Tower of God. Yes, it got that bad. As expected, some refuse to accept facts and continue to glaze it with complete nonsense. Thus far, there is only one positive review on Mal that has effort in its conception, and even this one is elevating Daima by shitting all over the previous Dragon Ball series. At the same time, the guy who wrote it is supposed to be a fan of Dragon Ball. Yes, he's such a big fan he hates everything about the previous series. It's easy to assume he's like me, someone who admits every show has problems and despite that he still likes it, but that is not what he's doing. He's trying to fool you into thinking Daima is the best series of them all by improving the formula, which is not what has happened. He's also very condescending with the past, which is something I almost never do, without ever admitting Daima wouldn't exist without those series, or that it's a shadow of what they used to be. Before I go over the wording of the review, let me clarify that this mentality is what has destroyed modern entertainment. It's always a bunch of supposed fans who on one hand love the franchise, but on the other hand hate everything about it and want to change it so much it stops being what the franchise was supposed to be about in the first place. It's no longer the same thing or what the fans want, it's just some corporate slop that is only using the name of a famous IP without caring about what makes that IP work. That is what killed Star Wars and Doctor Who and gaming and comics and everything we used to like in general. Fake fans who want to change everything. And this is what this reviewer is doing. Now let's go over his wording. Daima is the best thing that has happened to the franchise since Battle of the Gods. Lies. It's Sparkling Zero, a game that rehashes the previous series and gave the fans what they wanted, which is more of the same of what they liked. Daima is the proper send-off Toriyama deserved. Lies. Toriyama's send-off was Dragon Ball Super. There is no other send-off after it because people didn't care about anything else he made. They just wanted more of the same. He is glad Daima fixes GT instead of continuing with Super. Why? Nobody wanted to see GT getting fixed. They didn't even like GT, they just wanted more Super. And perhaps Super Saiyan 4 becoming canon, which didn't happen. Then he spends text on ridiculing Super for all its problems and on its fans who just want to see some damn power-ups, goddammit! I agree that the show was complete shit and its fans are just power-up junkies, but I accept that this is what works for them. I was a fan of the show up until Namek. After that it became all he describes. They just wanted power-ups and this is what the show was giving them more of. So although I agree with him, I don't agree with his reasoning. Because immediately after that, he shits on Toriyama that he's supposed to be a fan of. He claims Toriyama was never good at making fighting shonen. He was only good at making gag comedies, which is a complete lie. Because the paneling of the fighting scenes he drew was superb. Every fighting shonen took pointers from it. Every newer mangaka was inspired from it. How can you possibly say he was only good at gag comedies? I am not a Toriyama fanboy, and yet I would never disrespect him like this supposed fan does by saying he was bad at making fight scenes and demand he should have remained a gag manga writer. How is this guy supposed to be a fan of his work when he doesn't respect the talent he had for it? Shame on him! And I know many of you will probably think I am overthinking this because he's just a guy who wants more early Dragon Ball comedy instead of more fighting. No, the shaming is deserved. Because he doesn't even want more comedy in the likes of the early Dragon Ball. He hates even the comedy. It was deviant and crude because of the Gonagai influences. He instead wants sanitized jokes for little children. So once again he says he's a fan of his gag comedy, but he doesn't like his gag comedy. He wants safe comedy for little children, which is not what he was doing while he was making Dr. Slump and early Dragon Ball. And this here is what I said about modern entertainment being destroyed. Supposed fans demanding changes that the actual fans don't want. If this guy was an actual fan, as he claimed, he wouldn't be saying these things.
Oh, I hate the fighting, take out the blood. Oh, I hate the comedy, take out the sex jokes. And I hate the muscular adults, make them all cute babies. Oh, and Piccolo is black, obviously, like Mina from My Hero Academia. By the way, I'm a great fan of yours, Toriyama.
No, you're not, you're a hypocrite. Most likely you were paid to write this bullshit just to hype this trash nobody wanted, nobody likes, and nobody is watching. You know how I often end the videos by saying you shouldn't be a fanboy of anything? Well, he's not. At least he got that right. Also, please report this review for both spreading lies and also disrespecting everything Toriyama made. If the mods perma-banned me for speaking the truth, I am sure they're not gonna have any problem in taking down this review and banning the asshole who wrote it.
Daima's doing pretty good on Netflix. Dragon Ball Daima thus far for me has been a tad bit disappointing. Dragon Ball Daima disproves critics with impressive Netflix ratings. There isn't anything that I would say like, hey, it has all those issues, but this about it is so great that it just washes all of that away. Despite its few critics, the show is eating up streaming ratings. Dragon Ball Daima just kind of feels a little bit Toei Animation cleaned the plate with its animation, from its lore drops to its solid visuals. Bruh, where's like the Dragon Ball stuff that I love? Dragon Ball Daima is thriving, and Netflix has confirmed this with a new ratings update. There's nothing about Dragon Ball Daima off these first 4 episodes that makes me say, you know what, this is great, this is awesome, this is the best installment to Dragon Ball in years. Dragon Ball Daima ranked in 2nd place for non-English TV shows. It's not hitting for me thus far. And that's not even to jump into all of the retcons that Dragon Ball Daima has introduced thus far. Dragon Ball Daima is doing well at Netflix just 2 episodes in. Since when does Shenron play favorites? He's the eternal dragon. According to Google, the anime has ranked as one of the top 10 most searched anime series since its release. Bruh, y'all gotta pick up the pace, I'm just being honest. My Navi has ranked Dragon Ball Daima as the top anime to watch. These first 4 episodes just kind of feel, maybe bland is the word that I'm looking for. Dragon Ball Daima has not left the service's top 10 list since its debut. Really not digging Dragon Ball Daima right now.
Ah, finally, Dragon Ball is fixed! Remember when you were watching it as a kid and you were constantly bothered by how it didn't have any non-binary characters? I'm sure you lost a lot of nights being unable to sleep because of it. You just couldn't enjoy the hair color swaps and the kamehamehas because there weren't enough troons in it. Well, not anymore. Now you can sleep at night knowing Daima fixed this serious overlook by making the Kaioshins non-binary. It corrected the wrong social positions and it's now on the right side of history. It is an important move to finally have queer representation and shows why Toriyama had grown socially conscious as Daima became more and more popular. In just 5 episodes, it's now as popular as run-of-the-mill isekai that nobody watches. And that is how Daima grew up with us finally and is now mature. It's for adults. Just don't go asking why some Kaioshin look like women and have big boobs, although they don't need them since they are born out of a tree. What you should be asking instead is why did Toriyama take so long to add so much needed representation? Thankfully, he didn't forget to have Piccolo, who is clearly black, on Namek, which is clearly Africa, fighting Frieza, who is clearly the white slaver. Now shave your head, swear never to have sex again, and demand even more queer representation in Daima. That is what we need more of. The 8th episode of Dragon Ball Babies actually did something right. It had a very well made battle between Goku and the robot guarding one of the Dragon Balls. For the first time it gave the fans what they like, which is Goku changing hair colors and exchanging energy blasts with the villain. With that said, this does not mean Dragon Ball Diaper is now good, since it's still far from a typical Dragon Ball Z battle for several reasons. So in case some idiot tells you episode 8 is exactly what the fans want, tell him these obvious things. Number 1. This episode is part of Dragon Ball Babies, thus there is no investment in whatever is going on in it. Why would you care about a battle in a show you don't give a dime about? Number 2. The designs are still terrible. Baby Goku doesn't hit the same as adult Goku and the robot looks like a toy. You can't take anything seriously. Number 3. There is absolutely nothing for you to care about the robot. It was only standing still waiting for someone to fight it. It doesn't have any plot relevance and it's not even walking around with its own agenda. Number 4. The episode also shows what the other villains are doing, the ones who do have an agenda and do move around. Even there the show sucks because they keep retconning everything you knew about Majin Buu. And since the story was written by Toriyama himself, he basically spits in the face of all his fans by constantly changing his own lore. And number 5, it was just 1 episode with 1 good fight. It took 8 episodes of complete boredom to get here, and it will continue with more boredom later on. Thus no, Diaper didn't get better, it still sucks and it will keep sucking. Almost nobody watches it and its karma fell so low, it's about to exit the charts. Notice how a low-budget soft porn has more karma than it. That is how little people care. The consensus clearly shows us that Toriyama's swan song was a complete failure.
Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 is official canon. And I love that. Daima is changing things. It's changing established lore. We were given a canon version of Vegeta Super Saiyan 3. And I love that. Is definitely a retcon to stuff that happened in Super. Does it mean it's completely good? It's up for debate. Anyways, let's get into what really matters, and that is the fact that I love that. Yes, it can be chopped up to fan service, definitely. Daima in general is a lot of fan service for fans. Vegeta has a canon version of Super Saiyan 3. That makes me so happy, man. Vegeta hasn't overcome those flaws with Super Saiyan 3. He understands them, and so that is why he used it as a last resort to win, because he knew that if he didn't use it, it was over anyways, and he went all out because obviously, you know, it's all or nothing at this point, and I respect that. I really do. Great scene, great moment, great episode. Looking forward to where the story goes further, but I love you guys.
In case you didn't hear about the recent outrage in Dragon Ball Diaper, I don't blame you since nobody cares about Dragon Ball babies, besides the shield channels that are out of material to hype, now that Sparkling Zero lost 90% of its player base. So the recent fake outrage concerns toddler Goku and toddler Vegeta losing to guns. A bunch of nobodies just shot them and defeated the Super Saiyan 3 level characters. This isn't the first time it happened, since Dragon Ball Super had a ton of moments where the good guys lose to things that shouldn't even be a thing anymore. It's all done for artificially making a situation difficult, just for the sake of pretending there is tension in a series where the good guys can blow up solar systems. It's also a series where nobody could defeat the robots that were guarding the Dragon Balls, and then one-shot the very people who defeated said robots. It's obvious why people who stuck with this completely needless cash grab would be pissed off. It's mocking their intelligence. At the same time, the Dragon Ball franchise has been mocking them since Dragon Ball Super came into existence, or if you wanna be snobbier, ever since the Cell saga. There were no stakes anymore, so Toriyama was constantly making up excuses for why the heroes can't win in seconds. So this recent episode is nothing new, it's something that has been happening since the 90s. People can complain all they want about it, but at the end of the day, they will still hype it and want more hair color swaps. Can't wait for the outrage when Super Saiyan 7 Rainbow Ultra God Goku gets beaten by a little boy that kicks him in the nuts. Remember what every normie was yelling when he first saw the trailer for Dragon Ball Babies? He was yelling he wants more Super, but he was also yelling that this is a rehash of Dragon Ball GT. What did every shield say in response to this? It's not a rehash of GT, it's very different, it's innovating, it went back to its roots and it's more like the original series. It has a ton of things GT didn't have. And then they just rehashed the Super Saiyan 4. Yeah, so innovating. And every shield instantly changed his mind to now openly admitting it was a rehash of GT. And they love it, although just a few days ago they hated the idea of it being a rehash. Yeah, that's the kind of monkeys they are. That aside, even as a rehashed transformation, it isn't even as good as the original one in GT. Goku didn't even choose to get it. Some Namekian touched him and he instantly got it. Training, what is that? Being on the moon looking at the earth? Having to tame the Golduzaru before mastering the form? What is that? There was no thought behind this, they just threw it in for the nostalgia. There was no build-up. That Namekian could have given him this power since episode 1. It was that cheap. And it wasn't even effective since Goku was owned in just 1 minute. They didn't even let him win once with the new form. Which is obviously an excuse so we can have a fusion next episode. More nostalgia that doesn't mean anything because it also had no build-up. 20 episodes of boring shit, and the only memorable scenes will be the cheap transformations that mean nothing. Oh, and also Super Saiyans losing to plain lasers. How is this supposed to be a tribute to the original Dragon Ball? How is it even a tribute to GT? Did anyone get defeated by lasers in GT? The creators just didn't give a shit. Toriyama didn't even give a shit about his own swan song. What is there to like about it? Seeing the Gogeta fusion losing to a nobody soldier with a laser? How about just shooting the main villain with a laser and be done with it? Fuck this franchise and fuck anyone who thinks this is acceptable. At this point, even the modern Pokemon anime has more thought put behind it.
If you hate Dragon Ball Daima at this point, right now, I'm not going to mince my words anymore. You're just hating Daima out of spite, because quite frankly, you've been spoiled by pretty much everyone who's not really watched Daima, but saw that clip and is basically going into all of these discussions without context. Goku, yet again, was gifted a power through something that wasn't pure training. I personally think it makes absolute sense. Anyone saying that Daima comes after Super, I'm sorry, they're absolutely wrong. I'm being really combatant here and really resistant because I'm getting sick and tired of people bashing Daima just for the sake of it, just because it's everyone turning into kids again. There is a reason for that. It was because Toriyama wanting his own go at GT. This old Namekian is Toriyama's own ultimate self-insert character. He's the one calling the shots here, and he's like, nah, this is not going the way I want it. I imagine, you, monkey boy, I'm unlocking your potential. I like this. I like this a lot. It doesn't ruin Daima, and for anyone who thinks that it's ruining Daima, you are quite frankly wrong. The transformation didn't work. It got removed. It's not coming back. It was a flash in the pan sort of a thing. If this had been a thing where he got this transformation and completely walloped Goma, that would have been worse because it's Goku time all over again. No, Toriyama didn't give us that. It was a nice little thing, but in classic Toriyama subversion, it was just like, got you. No, that's not gonna work. If you are hating on Daima and you've not actually watched this series, why? This is perfect. This is great. It was a masterpiece in just offering so many things.
Goku and Vegeta get hit by laser guns and pierced by laser guns or electrocuted by laser guns. In original Dragon Ball, Goku took out the Red Ribbon Army on his own whilst having a power level in the hundreds, and now obviously it's post-Z. It's in the millions if not billions, even in his base. It is a bit of an issue, but it's not the issue that people think it is, because the demons in the demon realm are not human level. They're nowhere near human level. So I'm trying to be fair and balanced here, and that is of course the fact that you should be upscaling these attacks to beyond Z levels rather than bringing them right down to human levels. It's basically people that have an agenda against Dragon Ball in trying to downscale it that are somehow taking the attacking potency and destructive capacity as well as defensive capacity backwards. You've got it all wrong. And like I said, these laser guns aren't necessarily just regular human level laser guns. They're likely highly powered up. The demon realm is quite a powerful realm relativistically to what we saw in early Dragon Ball Z. The demons are not just regular mortal living beings in the universe, they're a lot stronger, and they're using these guns simply because they obviously give them some benefit over their natural power levels. So these guns are obviously much stronger than regular laser guns.
I've only got 2 words to describe Dragon Ball Daima episode 19. Absolute cinema! I'm being really immature about this, and if you still don't like Daima after having watched this episode, what is wrong? What else does this show have to do to impress you? It gave you everything that people have been clamoring for. We are getting so much fan service here that people know well about and love from the GT days. Daima is doing everything it possibly can to convince everybody it is worth your attention. I'm being really immature about this. This is something that Toriyama poured his heart and soul into. This was crafted over 3-4 years. This took a lot of time. So just sit down and take it all in. I'm being really immature about this, and I really hope you can sit down and watch this series and really understand what Toriyama was trying to do here. Just swallow that bitter pill and enjoy. Seriously, I'm being really immature about this. These last 2 episodes, and probably the next one, are going to be absolute peak Dragon Ball. This will be one of the best series that we've seen of Dragon Ball in nigh on 3 decades. I'm being really immature about this.
It's really funny to see how desperate some cultists are when it comes to bad shows. They will defend the show no matter what happens in it, and then they will find one good thing in it, they will rub it in everyone's face and pretend it proved the haters wrong. This one in particular does the typical, the recent episode silenced the haters, it proves the show is peak. First of all, it didn't silence everyone, the show is still bad regardless of what happens in one episode. And secondly, this fanboy is not proving Diaper is peak. He's proving only the finale is somewhat good, and the rest of the show is forgettable slop. I mean, why did people complain in the first place? Because Diaper is not what they like about Dragon Ball. They don't want to see babies doing poop jokes. They want to see Goku and Vegeta changing hair colors and firing energy beams at the final villain. This has been the case ever since Namek ended. For 19 episodes they weren't getting that. Now they do, thus they don't complain much about it. And that is why this idiot here is not proving Diaper is peak. He's proving it's a failure, because it wasn't giving the fans what they wanted until it was almost over. But this fanboy is not going to admit it and instead makes it seem like Diaper proved its peak because it silenced the haters. One episode before the ending, what a clown. Just like the final villain, he's just Jiren with the head of a clown. That's what the entire show is. A bunch of clowns that rehash all their ideas. Here is the Ginyu Force, but with clowns. That definitely silenced all the haters. Enjoy your slop, you clowns.
Just swallow that bitter pill and enjoy. Seriously.
Dragon Ball Daima has done it again! Dragon Ball GT never gave fans this satisfaction, as it kept Goku as a child the entire time. Thankfully, Dragon Ball Daima avoids that mistake, letting the adult versions of the hero shine in the final episodes.
Absolute cinema!
A lot of fans were really satisfied with the execution of Goku's adult Super Saiyan 4 transformation, and now they're making an even stronger case that Goku's Super Saiyan 4 is a much better and more hyped transformation than Luffy's Gear 5 in One Piece. Well, we wouldn't blame them, especially since it did manage to break the internet and Crunchyroll again, something that Luffy's Gear 5 adaptation just couldn't quite do.
And if you still don't like Daima after having watched this episode, what is wrong?
Episode 19 was so entertaining that it's inspired fans who were sleeping on the Daima to finally pick it up.
What else does this show have to do to impress you?
Many anime fans now believe that Dragon Ball Daima has officially surpassed Dragon Ball Super.
It gave you everything that people have been clamoring for.
And some dedicated Daima fans believe that the haters are undoubtedly silenced after this episode.
Daima is doing everything it possibly can to convince everybody it is worth your attention.
Well, that last bit is very wrong, because there are a bunch of fans online complaining about how the transformation scene didn't have hype music, or how the red hair doesn't look as cool as the black one in GT, or how the transformation creates plot holes since it was never shown or mentioned in Super. Some are even saying Goku's big hands in that form look goofy. Well, it really isn't the anime community if they don't complain about everything.
Just swallow that bitter pill and enjoy.
The final episode of Diaper is out and it's a complete failure. Absolutely no excuse was given for why Goku and Vegeta never used their new forms in Super. The fanboys were sure it's because they are magic based or because they got amnesia at the end of the show, but no explanation was given. Absolutely no attempt was made to explain how this garbage named Diaper has any continuity with the other garbage named Super. Also, the fusion every battle power addict was sure would happen, because they kept mentioning the fusion bugs for half the show, didn't happen either. They never used the damn things, they were completely forgotten. Oh, and the Kaioshin who was supposed to fuse again so there will be continuity with Super, that didn't happen either. Yes, it was that bad. And I already see the fanboys acting like there is nothing wrong with it because Toriyama subverted their expectations. And that now we have to be patient until the next season comes out, which will excuse all the inconsistencies. This series is officially a 1 out of 10. The worst possible score I can give it. A completely bullshit plot with terrible pacing and the only memorable scenes being nothing but a rehashing of GT and fanfiction about Vegeta becoming Super Saiyan 3. And of course, the fandom being equally garbage for being happy with the slop they are given. Dragon Ball died at Namek and Toriyama did nothing to salvage it. Oh, and those of you who for some reason still think the Cell saga was good because of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Toriyama showed you how much he liked it by erasing Gohan from existence. This is how much he cares about him. It was always the Goku and Vegeta show to him, with Gohan becoming a successor being a mistake he had to retcon. And millions were fine with it. What else can you say after that besides, enjoy your slop, you battle power addicts?
Yes, I know that there are some things which have been left unresolved. This entire series is just so pleasing, satisfying.
Dragon Ball Daima.
Do I think it was the ultimate perfect ending of Daima? Not quite. I was satisfied.
Everything will be wrapped up in this episode of 20 minutes. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They will do it justice.
It did make some missteps for me, but I think these could be explained away if indeed this is maybe some sort of foreshadowing for us not being quite done with the Demon Realm. A season 2.
Is it not over for the great intro of Dragon Ball Daima?
I am a little disappointed that we didn't get some kind of explanation as to why Super Saiyan 4 isn't mentioned in the Battle of Gods arc. Maybe it's because during peacetime, Goku forgot to access it. Maybe it's been something that he's been preparing, but only the influence of the Demon Realm was something that could activate it.
No 10 times Kamehameha, no Dragon Fists, no fusion.
There are still some issues with it, but that's pretty much the case with every single Dragon Ball series that's ever existed. No Dragon Ball product has ever been 100% perfect. And that's just the way we come to expect it, and it's okay. Daima doesn't have to be absolutely fantastic. It just has to be an improvement of what we've had.
No Dragon Fist, no Fusion, no Super Saiyan 5, no Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, no double Super Saiyan 4 attack.
Not seeing any trace of Gohan was a bit weird. That was a little strange. The overall package just made me so happy and satisfied and content.
No epic finale, just a squish of the egg.
I know people were frustrated and sad that we didn't get any fusion, but what we got I am perfectly happy with because it just fits. It's in keeping with Dragon Ball's spirit.
Threat neutralized.
I know that some people may be disappointed that we didn't get Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Oh well, okay. I still enjoyed Daima, regardless.
Why don't they just squish them right there? Pay for them and squish them. Oh, Black Frieza's gonna go into the demon world and take a third eye for himself.
We didn't get a fusion of any kind. It was perfect. A perfect ending for me, because it was filled with things that just scream Dragon Ball to me.
Woohoo! I mean, anything's possible at this point.
Come on, we ate well. We got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in kid and adult form. That's been something that we've been longing for decades at this point.
I know there's a lot of haters out there, and there's going to be a lot of haters for this episode, but I enjoyed it.
Maybe it might get to the point where we get an explanation later on in some sequel series of somebody going, oh yeah, Goku or Dad, you had that Super Saiyan 4 thing, why have you not used it again? And then it would be saying, well, you know, I kind of forgot about it because we weren't really tested, and then we got Super Saiyan God, which is kind of similar, so it's like, you know, it's kind of not worth it. The world's a better place with Daima in it. You know, Daima existing, it's a good thing. Akira Toriyama has plenty of ideas still left. Toilet humor based. I mean, this is Toriyama, of course it is. It has something to do with the toilet and the subversions. The Gendarmerie Force, we learnt their names, we figured out their personalities, and what was even the point? They capitulated almost immediately. Maybe that was a subversion as well. Maybe Toriyama was just saying, oh, people think of these guys are going to be really good, like the Pride Troopers and the Ginyu Force. I'll show them. I thought it would have been the main focus of the episode, to find out more about the dynamics of the three Glind siblings. But we didn't really get that. Maybe it's typical Toriyama subversion. Degasu, who was meant to be the main draw of the episode, turned out to be so generic. We've not really got any flashbacks to the days of when they were all together before the Glind left for the other universes. We didn't get any of that, which is a real shame. Maybe that was a subversion as well. We're either going to get a roundabout Gogeta or Vegito, maybe Arinsu and Nahare fusing to use their incredible brain power to figure out a solution, or the Dooku brothers fusing, Do and Ku. Dooku. We know how much Toriyama loved his Star Wars. Count Dooku, of course. That's my basic prediction right now. That Medibug fusion one is going to become important. It really will, trust me. Maybe I'm overthinking it too much. No one really cares about Daima. I'm just really disappointed. Maybe that was a subversion as well.
There is subversion, and then there is this. Toriyama announces he's going to unveil a brand new Dragon Ball Z movie, but instead, he unzips his pants and just starts pissing all over the audience. Get it? It's subversion! You didn't see that coming! And walks off stage. And then the urine-soaked fans of the franchise stand there. That man is a genius.
As soon as Diaper ended, every fanboy began discussing whether it is canon to Super or a spin-off just like GT. Every shield is desperately trying to theorycraft how the hell all the retcons and the inconsistencies can fit into the continuity, digging into interviews the creators had about it.
Finding ways to connect Daima to Dragon Ball Super. That connective tissue between the Buu Saga, Super, Daima is it.
And the answer is, it doesn't matter. Toriyama has forgotten and retconned so many things over the years, to the point there is no canon. If there was canon, there would also be consistency throughout the series, and since there isn't, it doesn't matter. Just because Toriyama wrote something, it doesn't mean it doesn't have plot holes, or that it's not filler, and trying to excuse Diaper as a worthy addition with that in mind only makes you a mindless fanboy. Also, by following this logic, nothing will be canon hereafter, and therefore it is not good. How are the shields going to milk every nick and cranny now, How will the Toriyama cultists remain engaged if they know what is coming out is not made by him? Therefore all these debates about what is canon or not are a complete waste of time. As long as the meatheads that comprise most of the modern audience get to see Goku and Vegeta changing hair colors, they won't care if something makes sense or not. Not even Toriyama cared. What happened to the fusion bugs? Where is Degasu's flashback? Why did Gohan cease to exist? The answer to all that is because Toriyama didn't give a shit about consistency and eventually forgot about them. Thus the audience has to stop giving a shit and enjoy babies pooping in their diapers, which is somehow enough to make them go Super Saiyan 5, but still not stronger than a kid with a water pistol. Do you know the main reason why shields make theories? It's not because they want to explore the mysteries within a show, but because they have run out of things to say about what is officially known. Once the official material runs dry, they have to theorycraft so they can stay active with non-official material, which is basically fanfiction. But the thing is, not many care about fanfiction, they only care about official material that they have not consumed yet. And that is why Shield channels do not openly call it fanfiction, they call it mystery that is explained with proof. Although it's not really a mystery, since the show never made a big fuss about it. And there is no proof because nobody bothered to think of an explanation. You eventually reach levels of complete insanity such as this one here. Goma, a completely lame character nobody cares about, from Diaper, a show that only had 2 good episodes, is somehow responsible for killing the parents of Jiren, another character nobody cares about, from Super, a show that everybody was watching for the hair color swaps. Somehow this is supposed to be a mystery, although nobody ever wondered about it, and there is no evidence about it. Do you know what said evidence is? Goma looking like Jiren with the head of a clown. That's all. And by the way, there is absolutely no continuity between Diaper and Super. They are different continuities because nobody cares about canon anymore. This is what shield channels like Geekdom have devolved into, now that there is no super and no diaper material left to milk. And it's not fanfiction, it's a mystery that is explained with proof. And that is why every theory crafting channel thinks it's Jiren, when it's just the head of a clown.